We'll get to that a little bit later on.
Social media for you.
Yeah. Well, then Salvi can tell you all about it.
Yes, I'm sure he can.
I believe that was his quote. In fact, I will bring the quote up. We discussed this on our, David and I will chat about it again on our Kaufman Corner podcast last night. But Salvi's quote here, because I put it down. I do want to bring this up because I think this is of note, but not really for the reason people are saying. The original quote, Matt Quatraro, by the way, Annie Rogers and her great reporting that she does there at MLB.com, tip of the cap, that's where I'm getting these quotes from. Matt Quatraro said on Saturday in postgame, just looking at the way things have gone, he's played in every game, day game after night game. Carter was going to catch today, and Salvi's been struggling a little bit. Just try to give him a little mental breather. Right? He would go on to say, we know he's not going to play 162 games, so we have to be strategic about the times where we do give him a day. Some of it's physical. He's caught a lot early in the season. Some of it's just mental, is just the mental part, too. He's a human, and when you struggle and you beat yourself up, you have high expectations like he does. Sometimes it's good to just relieve a little of the pressure.
Okay, good with that.
You know what I would have been good with, too? I'm the manager. I'll write whoever's freaking name down I want. I would have been fine with that, too. I'll get to that in a minute. Before the game, Annie Rogers has quotes from Salvador Perez. I'm good. My family's good. Everybody's good, Perez said. I got reached out to by a lot of people yesterday after the game, and they sent me what Quatraro said. I don't have any problem with Quatraro. We talked today. I know people were surprised I didn't play yesterday, but everybody has an off day in the big leagues. It's kind of hard to play 162 games, especially behind the home plate. Everything is fine. He didn't mean to say that. People understood that in the wrong way. That's the easy way. Social media, you guys know it is. It's kind of crazy sometimes. He didn't mean to say that. I need a mental breather. He knows me. You guys know me. I like to be in the lineup every day, and I like to play and have fun. And he also reported that there was a meeting. J.J. Piccolo, Salvador Perez, and Matt Quatraro all got together. Largely, I think this is much ado about nothing. Let me first state that there is a part of the equation where I would say with Matt Quatraro, and he knows this, but you do always have to. I would think, I don't know, because we're working sports talk radio, so largely you have a collection of morons that are here. Ain't nobody in this building speak two languages, okay? So none of us are that smart.
No.
So I have, this is not experience of having dealt with on my own, but I do understand in talking with people in and around the game of baseball that you do have to be a little bit careful about the translations. I think part of this may, look, I maybe mental health. Like here, I think we made great strides in America. Great strides. Still have many strides to take, but the idea that something's wrong, that you're weak. Yeah. We're getting beyond the you're weak, the stigma that if you need, help, mentally. Ryan Lefever's done a fantastic job with the campaign that the Royals run. The Royals have done a great job in that. I love it. It's fantastic. Every country is not hip to that. So I don't know how they are in Venezuela, and I don't know what the Venezuelan culture is. But it may be that, they're not as advanced on it, or just don't have the same opinion that mental health is a real thing and you need to be careful. And so it may have been taken as an insult. Hey, he's saying you need a mental health day. What are you, some kind of wimp? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how the culture works. But I just want to put that on the table. When you're crossing languages, things can be lost in translation. And, that seems to be a hang-up for Salvi.
Yeah.
The mental health part of the equation. He needed a mental breather. I don't need a mental breather.
Yeah.
That's what he tweeted back. I don't need a mental breather. First of all, I would like Salvador Perez to have picked up the phone and texted his manager rather than taking to social media. He says, social media. Well, you do too. Yeah, right. You're the one that took it to it. It wasn't Matt Quatraro that tweeted out his comment. He made a comment to a reporter. By the way, a completely benign and fine comment. To me, the part that is being lost here that I think is of note, and we spent a lot of time, David and I spent a lot of time on the podcast and in segments with him, that if you're going to do an extension with Salvador Perez, part of the extension needs to be, Salvi, here's the money. And I even said, give him an extra $1 million. if that's what it takes. Because you've decided, like for me, listen, everyone knows if you listen to the show, I'm ready to move on from everybody. Like, I don't care what they've done. Yeah. I look at it from what's best for the ball club. But I don't manage the personalities, and both teams, I think, are quite happy that I don't. And there are human feelings and emotions, and you got to understand how to manage things with people. And so it might be that, hey, we can, no matter what it costs for Salvador Perez, he's worth it. Fine, I get it. But when you decide to keep him, the one thing, though, that I think needed to happen, and this is what I was mentioning that David and I have talked about many times, is the conversation needed to be had with Salvi that you're not getting any younger, and part of what we're doing is keeping you around for leadership, for everything you bring, somewhat of a thank you for maybe times you've exceeded.
Lifetime Achievement
Award. But there are going to be days that you're not going to play, Salvi. We've got Carter Jensen. We want Carter in there, and we think you're better rested. We want a rested Salvador Perez every time you play. We think that's going to give us the best. And listen, if we're going to do this deal, you need to buy in. I can't have you grousing around the clubhouse every time I don't put your name in the lineup. So I need you 100% on board and bought in. Whether I write your name in that lineup card or not, you have got to be bought in. Or J.J. Piccolo saying, whether Q writes your name in that lineup card or not, you've got to be bought in.
The David Justice scene from Moneyball.
Yeah.
Be a leader.
Yes. I mean, this is what we need from you, and this is what our expectation is. If that's not what you want, let's part ways right now, and you go find some place where they will play you every day. All right? I don't think that happened, and that's disappointing because it is time for that to happen. Here's the other thing. How about Matt Quatraro? He didn't mean to say it, Salvi says. How about Matt Quatraro goes, well, I didn't put him in the lineup because he can't hit. You know, I don't know if you've seen his numbers, but they suck. So that's why I didn't write his name in the lineup, because that would have been honest and fair and true as well.
Sub 500 OPS.
We all love Salvador Perez. I love Salvador Perez. I have Salvador Perez memorabilia. He's one of my favorite Royals of all time. He is spectacular. And I am so glad that he's wearing a Royals uniform. Again, I'll make you a case of why maybe he shouldn't have, right? You're spending a lot of money on a catcher that, you know, is getting up there in age. And that now you've had to bring up and carry a third catcher because, shockingly, he's got a hip injury. That's the other thing Annie had in her story is that, well, this hip that's been bothering him for several years might have been a time to eject when you found out that he had a chronic hip problem. You know, and he plays the position that squats all the time. But if you're going to do it, if you're going to do the contract, he's got to be on board. And there's every reason in the world to not write his name in there. And there shouldn't have to be a meeting with the manager and general manager every time you sit a catcher. Now, I get it. It wasn't just that he was sat. It's the comment that Salvador Perez heard from a number of people. And obviously it didn't sit well. Again, I don't think it should have been a big deal, but for whatever reason, it was a big deal with Salvador Perez. So Matt Quatraro here moving forward, don't call it a mental breather. He just, you know, he's not playing 162, gave him the day off, period. But when he gives him the day off, that's it. No, like, oh, what do we think? Now, for reporters, the next time he's not in there, the first thing that they should do is go, hey, Salvador, you're not in the lineup. You know, everything good? Because it's now a thing. Here moving forward, it's a thing, at least until we go a couple of games where he doesn't play and he doesn't take to social media. So this is not a big deal in this back and forth that all got cleared up Sunday morning. I don't think it's a problem at all, but I think there is a problem. The problem is the idea that Salvador Perez has to play almost every day, and the Royals are going to acquiesce to it. Listen, there are a lot of people bitching about the Royals right now, bitching about Matt Quatraro specifically right now, about things that are ridiculous, that he doesn't have anything to do, but he's got something to do with this. He's a freaking manager, and he'll write down what names he thinks are best in that lineup. And whoever's name is in there, grab a bat, get your mitt, do your prep work. And if your name isn't, no bitching. So moving forward, this is what you can. This organization cannot be about a Salvador Perez Hall of Fame drive. Well, I've got to get to 350 home runs, or I've got to get to 1,400 RBIs. I mean, we've talked over and over again. He's closing in on some milestones, that are big. He's about ready to pass George Brett for the all-time home run king of the Kansas City Royals. I mean, there's some big numbers that are out there and some important milestones for him. And I get it, but you're here to win baseball games. And so I'll make you a case. Like David had him. We'll bring David in. He'll be in here in the 5 o'clock hour. But he had the numbers about how much better. Like Salvi's numbers jump. Last year jumped every time he didn't catch the day before. So whether he played first or had an off day, as long as he didn't catch, his offensive numbers jumped the next day. Small sample size to a degree, but, something to consider. I mean, I don't, this is the conversation that should have been had when you had pen and contract sitting on a table that we're going to sign. Here it is. But let's agree, Salvi. Here's how it's going to work. Here's how it's got to work. There's no reason to think at this age that he should be in there every day. None. I can think of one catcher that was productive at this age playing all the time is Carlton Fisk. And I'm hoping that Salvador Perez is that guy, and I'm hoping he comes out of this slump and he rakes. But this cannot, I will repeat, cannot be the Salvador Perez Hall of Fame train. It needs to be the Kansas City Royals trying to win baseball games.
Here's two interesting stats that sit side by side about Salvador Perez this year. Only 3 catchers in all of baseball have more plate appearances than Salvi's 85 this year. And 2 of those, Drake Baldwin and Shea Langoliers, have nice OPSs. Baldwin 866, Langoliers 948. Cal Raleigh is only at 511, but he's coming off a 60-homer season, and he's 29. He's 7 years younger than Salvador Perez, so you at least see something there. Salvador Perez is at 491. He's 4th, and he's that far behind. Now, another stat, most plate appearances by players who have a sub 500 OPS. Only 4 players in baseball have more plate appearances than Salvador Perez among players who have less than a sub 500 OPS. Unfortunately, one of those is Vinny Pasquantino. But the numbers aren't there, and by position, they aren't there. There's really no reason other than the fact that his name is Salvador Perez for him to have that many plate appearances. And if he wasn't Salvador Perez, if he was somebody else, if he was Jeff Perez, would he have 85 plate appearances?
No.
Of course he wouldn't.
No,
and
there is a difference in
reason.
But there is a difference in being. Let's be clear. Salvador Perez has earned the benefit of the doubt.
Some of that, yeah.
Over his career, but his age also warrants some skepticism.
Yes.
I mean, it's not just a foregone conclusion that he will put up the numbers that he always puts up. You have to have some skepticism, and you have to acknowledge the age. And if this hip thing has been something he's been dealing with for a couple of years, why on earth has he played every day up until now?
At that position, I
think he's DH. He hadn't caught every game, but
he's caught more than 60% of his games that he's played this year. And I mean, I'm much older, but I know what it's like to have bad hips. It's hard to get out of a chair. He's a catcher with bad hips, and he's trying to get out of a crouch. How much extra wear and tear? How much does that make his hips worse by having to repeatedly do that motion?
Yeah, look, like I said, you could discuss the money that's going to Salvador Perez. Could that have gone someplace else towards a bat in the outfield? Could you have a defense-only catcher with Carter Jensen and been just fine and found a bigger bat for the outfield? Maybe, I don't know. We can talk about that. But, you made the decision that Salvador Perez is really important to the organization. And I'm fine with that. I get it. That you don't ever want to see Salvador Perez wear another uniform. There is something to that. But I don't want it to be Todd Helton, almost said Todd Hollandsworth, Todd Helton and the Rockies, where they're paying him gobs of money to not hit very well and for them to suck. Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you, we've said it a million times. Back in the day, it was a big George Brett, the manager. Ain't nobody coming out to watch this club just because George Brett's in the dugout. They made him the hitting coach, and attendance didn't spike. Okay? And nobody's coming out to watch even Salvador Perez or even George Brett. If the team sucks, no one's coming. They're not coming out. Nobody wants to watch bad baseball. It's like the pair of shoes you won't let your wife throw away. You ain't wearing them because they look like crap and they're outdated, but you love them. They're your favorites. They're comfy. You can't throw that away, honey. I mean, they could come back in style.
But you don't wear them to the
wedding. You ain't wearing them.
You don't wear them to the wedding.
Oh, I love the Royals. Have you been out there? Oh, God, no. They've been terrible. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's the reality. of what's going on here. Win baseball games. And if we're going to be a math organization, then you need to be a math organization. The math says sit him. And there shouldn't be any debate about it. And I don't care how many of his family members ring him up.
It is also interesting to hear some of the same people, and maybe it's just people that follow me on Twitter, they will complain about why you don't look at the math with someone like Lane Thomas. Well, how come he's not looking at what he's been the last couple of years against left-handed pitching? When it's someone that they don't really know much about or aren't a fan favorite, they want Matt Quatraro to look at the math every single time. But if he was to look at the math on Salvador Perez and make the decision, how can you make that decision about Salvador Perez? Yes, he does have as you said, his presence
I don't really
in
hear.
the clubhouse.
Did you? I mean, I didn't take a pulse and read Twitter about it. But were people upset that Salvi was out?
I think they're more upset about the idea that if of what he said to Matt Quatraro, that somehow that means that Q's lost the clubhouse or whatever. That if I'm going to side with someone, I'm going to side with Salvador Perez. That people are much less likely to be bothered by Salvador Perez playing a lot than they are someone they haven't been a fan of for 15 years. And that can't be a consideration for the manager. I mean, there is, as you mentioned, there is some weight to his presence, but if he's batting 152 and is slugging 480, he shouldn't maybe have 85 plate appearances.
OPS.
OPS. Yeah, it'd be nice.
Not slugging anywhere near 480.
Like 290. Maybe he shouldn't be featured in that role.
I can tell you why he's not playing. He's not hitting.
Yes.
And if you want to play every day, then hit, rake, hit the ball over the wall, hit doubles. Let's go. Otherwise, this is not. This is Major League Baseball. So sometimes it's a cruel game. It tells you you've been great for a lot of years, but you're not great anymore. Like, let's go. This team at 7-15 is it over? It's not over. But we're going to give you some numbers when we come back that really point to it being absolutely critical that they get things going now. Like, we can talk about when do you get concerned. Well, it's now. Concern is now. And no, there's lots of baseball to be played, but it's teams like this right now that the sentiment has brought the sentiment out of, well, you can't win a pennant in April, but you sure as hell can lose it in April. Well, that's what they're doing. And that's something that this organization right now really doesn't need, to have 5 months of worthless baseball. Because there ain't any prospects knocking on the door that's like, well, let's just have those guys play. Omaha's older than the freaking big league club. So, I don't know what this is just a absolute lost season if they don't get things going. It's just more wear and tear on Michael Wacha. It's just more wear and tear on Seth Lugo. It's just more wear and tear on Cole Reagans. I mean, they got to go. They need to get things moving, and it needs to get moving right now.
The program with Soren Petro.
I would put the lid back on the Kentucky Fried Chicken barrel and put it out there in the sun, and it was not unlike a heater in a grocery store, which kept food hot all day. So I'd go back out there at 5, the chicken was still warm, and I'd finish off the bucket of chicken.
Weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
You ever had your jewelry cleaned? I mean, really clean. Jocelyn's Jewelry will do that for you. Gary did that for me. He said, give me your ring. And I put it on. I was like, oh, my God. I've never seen it sparkle like this. I mean, like actually cleaning the metal. Jocelyn's Jewelry is a full-service jewelry store. That means appraisals. That means repairs. They've done thousands and thousands of repairs. Most jewelry stores now are folks that were, selling cars or mortgages last week, and now they're standing around a case of jewelry that they don't know anything about. That's not how it works at Jocelyn's Jewelry. Gary is a true jeweler, and he does everything you could possibly need. You got an estate sale and you got some jewelry, maybe your aunt left you or whatever, you don't know if it's real or costume, take it to Gary Joslin. The local municipalities take seized jewelry from when there's a drug bust or whatever, they take it to Gary and be like, what do we got here? What is it? They trust Gary Joslin. And you can trust Gary as well. He's on the southeast corner of 95th and Antioch. Mother's Day is right around the corner, about 3 weeks away from Mother's Day. So what are you waiting for? Get into Jocelyn's Jewelry. Get her something she'll love, whether it's your mom, maybe it's the mom of your children, or just a mom you know. Jewelry always hits a home run. So go to the place that's been putting smiles on people's faces for years, putting smiles on moms' faces for almost 50 years. It's Jocelyn's Jewelry. Check them out online at joslinsjewelry.com. They've been voted the #1 jewelry store in Kansas City for a reason. You'll notice when you walk in, you're treated like family, and nobody's more knowledgeable or has a better selection. And if it's engagement time, almost 1,000 engagement rings to choose from right there at Joslin's Jewelry. 95th and Antioch, online at joslinsjewelry.com. Joslin's Jewelry, the gold standard in fine jewelry.
James Taylor here with La Bodega Restaurant on the Boulevard. Well, here comes the sun, and La Bodega's world-famous patio dining is open. Grab a friend or two and celebrate with our 20 choices of hot or cold tapas to share for lunch, brunch, or dinner. And how about a nice sangria to go with that? Dine in, take out, delivery, or cater, you just can't go wrong. Just go to LaBodegaKC.com. Come on, get out and get some sun.
You listen to the program here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Petro, Seaboldt, Collier with you. Talk some Chiefs football coming up with Matt Derrick.
Matt.
One of our great opens.
Matt.
Talking Royals baseball to get things started. Tom and Ted are going to lead us off. 913-810-810 if you want to grab a line right now. The Royals.
Mm-hmm.
Boobery. A problem over the weekend.
Yes.
And that's where it really, to me, becomes to where we're talking about being concerned for sure.
Yeah.
It's not just the results. It's the fact that they're not playing good baseball. And
they
when
weren't not playing competitive baseball, which they were. Kind of the sunshine that I thought after the 4-game losing streaks that all 4 runs were by, or losses in a row were by 1 run. Well, 13-2 and 7-0 will change that.
Yeah.
They now have the second worst run differential in the majors.
We watched Jack Caglione and Kyle Isbell run into each other. We watched Michael Garcia and Isaac Collins call each other off. We watched a jogging defense-only veteran catcher get waved home down 7 runs. I mean, God bless Gutierrez. Oh, he's a good third base coach. You know, trying to get something going there. We'll leave him at third. Like, there is no magic elixir. I mean, I do get the idea, like, we can't hit, so I'm going to windmill this guy home, and because the next guy ain't going to get a hit. I mean, I do get that, but
Not at 7-0.
You
in my mind.
I mean, I get it as a frustration move.
Yeah.
But, like, you play good baseball. You make good baseball decisions, and you play good baseball. And then, Curtis, you put pen to paper on home runs per out on the bases.
Yes.
Which includes caught stealings, pickoffs,
Yep.
and then just running into outs.
Yeah, trying to stretch a single into a double or something along that line. Does not account people getting forced at second.
And I heard Jason talking about it, the stats making the rounds, that they have 18 outs on the bases and only, 17 homers?
17 home runs.
And that stats everywhere. So that gives the Royals a ratio of what?
0.9 to 1 when it comes to homers per out on bases. OOB. Or if you just want to call it tube, total outs on bases. Tube. Not really a toot blend, but tube. Homers to tube. Yes, the Royals are one of 2 teams to have a sub-1 tube. 17 homers, 18 tubes. The Marlins are 15 and 22.
So 22 outs on the bases and only 15 homers.
Yeah.
Let me make sure.
The league average is 22 homers, 12 outs of the bases, or 1.8 to 1.
So they're 4 homers behind and 5 outs on the bases up.
Yeah, which is not good. The Rangers are quite something. They have 24 home runs and have 2 outs on the bases, and both of them were caught stealing second base. They have not been thrown out on a pickoff. They have not run into an out at second or third during the course of a play, and they're hitting the ball over the fence. Maybe they're less risky because they are hitting the ball over the wall. But
they were bad running the bases last year, made all kinds of critical outs last year, and we talked about this. Matt Quatrero at the end of the year presser pointed out, like, well, got to be more. I think he said more aggressive. You know, we've got to do a better job of taking the base when we can do it. And we were all like,
what?
Are you not watching what just happened over 162 games? But here they are back at it. So listen, this is where I talk about there's ridiculousness being thrown around, but about Matt Quatrero, like, oh, fire him because of this or that. First of all, you're not firing him. He's not getting fired. He just got a contract extension. Okay? So you can beat that drum, but he's not going anywhere. Right? They're not going to fire him and pay him for 4 years or however many years he's got left on that deal. It's not happening. Nor should they. He's won 86 and 82 games, winning record each of the last 2 years, went to the playoffs and won a playoff series. Matt Quatrero can manage fine. Okay? There's nothing wrong with him. Will there be a time to fire him? Maybe. Is this it? No. Does he survive even a really bad year? Yes. He will. But if you want to if you're going to be critical of them, let's be critical of the things that are justified. Why do they suck on the bases again? What is going on?
Yeah.
And if you want to be critical of the fact that their outfield's running into each other. That Michael Garcia is calling for a ball that he's going back on, that he should just be going back on, and Collins should be yelling, I got it, I got it, I got it, all the way in. That's the outfielder's ball. Once he knows he can get there, he's got to get everybody off of it.
And that's got to be Kyle Isbell's ball in right center. He's the
He's the center
he's the
fielder.
glove. He's going over there. He's calling for it. You can see how does Caglione even? Why is he even in the picture
Well,
at that point?
and part of it's because I will point out again, he's a first baseman playing right field.
Yes, yeah. The idea he's looking pretty good. He's looking pretty athletic. He's still there are things you'll see and go, nah, it didn't look like a Gold Glover.
If look, they are. He raked as a first baseman in the minors. Mm-hmm. There are two things that have changed now that he's not raking. He's not a first baseman anymore, and he's not in the minors. And I think certainly the big leagues part contributes most heavily. But I wonder how he'd be hitting if he were playing a comfortable position. Now, he looks pretty good out there. I mean, not speedy, but his routes are good, and he's got a big arm, and all those kind of things. And if you've got a rangy center fielder, then maybe this can work. But at some point, he's got to start hitting the ball with power. And if he's not, then you got to start looking at, do we need to put this club together differently? So if you want to be critical, you can't fail with Jack Caglione.
No.
Okay, there's a reason to be critical of the front office is you've got two first basemen. One of them you're having run around right field, and he's not hitting.
The reason to be mad at Matt Quatraro or anybody isn't because he didn't go get this reliever quickly enough in the 8th inning, or why did he go to this guy, or why isn't this team hitting with runners in scoring position? That's not manager stuff. This is manager stuff. 913-381-810-810. Let's talk to Tom. You're in the program. Tom, what's going on?
Well, I'm not going to call for Quatraro to be fired just yet. And I'm not going to blame him for certain things. But what I will blame him for is I look at these numbers, and it's just not Sal. It's also Vinny. Your 3 and your 4 hitters. One's hitting 499 OPS, the other one 491 OPS. 291 and 265 slugging, and between the two of them, 3 doubles. We're so focused.
So how is that is he holding the bat, or is he telling him don't hit it?
I'll tell you how. I really think he ought to mix up his lineup at least.
Okay.
He could easily.
What would you like?
Explain that to. Well, and so here's what I think you're going to have to do. I think you're going to have to move Garcia down to 3, or maybe back down to 4 at this point, because you got to manufacture runs. You're going to have to. I don't think you have a choice because you can't keep doing this. Now, maybe they warm up like they did last year because April was bad for both of them last year. But they're going to have to do something because they can't go in the hole more than they already are. And there's such a focus on platooning our outfield bats when our 3 and 4 hitters are the worst in baseball easily right now.
Who leads off?
And it's an ongoing trend.
Who leads off?
I think you have to put Bobby there. Maybe you put Collins there when he's healthy.
Then who's 2? Give me the whole 9.
Well, I'd have to do some work on that.
Well, and then I think you should do that, Tom.
Do that. And
Because the point is, it sounds.
I listened to the podcast last night, and it's great points. But and Salvi's been bad, but you can't have that in the middle of your lineup.
Well, I agree that they're going to have to start looking at tinkering with the lineup. If they don't take off here real soon, they're going to have to start looking at doing something different.
Right.
And Tom, I'm going to let you go. I appreciate the call. The point of that is to say, okay, it's great to say move Michael down. Okay, but now you got to make the rest of it. You got to go ahead and fill out the rest of the lineup card, and that's what you find out when you do. I don't know who's the leadoff guy,
and I don't want to give so far my best hitter less at bats.
Yeah.
And Isaac Collins has a 541 OPS. So
one of the reasons why this offense struggled so much last year is because they could not get anything out of the leadoff spot. Now they've solved that. It seems like Michael Garcia is going to solve that, and it's someplace else. And this started, and let's back up. This started with the Matt Quatraro. When you set sail with Salvador Perez and Vinny Pasquantino on your team, they're going to play. They're going to play until they're hurt. Period. End of discussion. There is no magic bullet. Now, I will say the magic bullet I've already covered on, or what not a magic bullet, but what I think does need to change is Salvador Perez needs more days off. I think that's an easy one. So
and you have somebody that has a pretty good stick and can play the position. Vinny is just going to, one, he has a better outlook as far as finding it. than Salvador Perez does because of his youth, and you don't really have the Carter Jensen of first base to just come in there and
well, you don't. The guy who's hitting, you have Jack Caglione, who can go play first base, but he's not the opposite hand, and all those things as well.
They don't have a bunch of good bats you can just drop in. That's part of the problem is that there's nobody. They're really there to pick up the fact that they've got 3 guys with 500 OPSs.
913-3810810. Let's talk to Ted. You're in the program, Ted. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, I got two quick ones that are not my main point.
Okay.
It seems to me that there was a conversation held with Salvi, and I'm not sure maybe he's listening, because Dayton said before the year started that Jensen was going to catch at least 60 games. So, I mean, maybe Salvi's just not listening. And I'm going to go back to a point that I brought up a couple of weeks ago, or a week ago, that they're not searching for fastballs. They watched 21 strikes on Saturday. I mean, this hitting thing is a mess.
Well, and as we talk about, McIntyre, if you want to be critical of him, they're not hitting again in April, and if it's not Alex Zumwalt,
they're not ready to play. And I don't know if they're a bad baseball team, but so far they've been a bad baseball team, and so everybody wants to put blame, and so just a few points. If Salvi is over the hill, if Massey and India are going to play like I think they're going to play, and they have played, and Lane Thomas doesn't work out, and Isaac Collins doesn't work out, whose fault is it? Whose decisions were those?
Well, the roster was constructed by J.J. Piccolo. Yes, absolutely. That would be on his desk. There's a lot of ifs you just put there, though, to be clear.
No, but right now, all that looks bad, right?
Yeah, yes.
So I'm just saying where the blame lies. There's a lot of problems.
No, I'm with you,
Accurate.
Ted. I'm with you, and I appreciate the call, buddy. It's always good to talk to you. There is a lot of blame.
He says, I think the question where he was kind of starting to ask is this a good team who's playing poorly, or is this a bad team? They're playing like a bad team plays, particularly with the way this last recent trend is. Up until the time they got to New York, I thought this was a team. It could be a decent team that was playing poorly because they had a lot of close losses. But good teams don't get wherever you play. The Yankees, this isn't the 98 Yankees. Good teams don't usually get drubbed 13-2 and 7-0 in back-to-back games. And back home, they've got Baltimore and who else is in? The Angels in town this week. Got to right the ship. If they 6 games, they go 2-4.
Well, it is, and David and I talked about this last night, and again, David Leske will be with us in the 5 o'clock hour. He pulled the numbers on the last 4 years of playoff teams.
Mm-hmm.
There have been 48 playoff teams, 24 in the American League, 24 in the National League, right? 14 of the 24 in the American League had a stretch where they went 7-15 or worse. 5 in the National League. I don't know why it's so different between the two leagues, but 5 in the National League. So basically 19 of 48, so less than half, but still a big chunk of them had a stretch that was 7-15. It is magnified because this is the start, and there are no other wins in front of it. They didn't bank 10 over before they went 7-15, and are now still sitting at 2 over. And it was this time last year where they were at 8-14, just one game better, and they took off and went 16-2 in their next 18. Now, I don't think that's coming with the schedule that they've got in front of them, but the schedule does ease up, and they do come home. And so, but that's what kept that season afloat last year. It's time to get going this year.
And the exact 7-15 start, I went back to the beginning of the wild card era, which was 1995. 45 teams before this year, 45 teams were exactly 7-15 at the 22-game mark. Those teams averaged, their final record was 70-92. and only 2 of them made the postseason. The 2015 Rangers lost in the LDS, that crazy LDS against Toronto, and the 24 Astros were swept in the wild card round. The Royals represent 6 of those 45. Their 6 teams averaged exactly 65.5 and 96.5. So and that the more they keep piling losses, the more those numbers are going to start dropping. I mean, there's almost no precedent for good or bad. For one thing, because good teams that were good the previous year don't tend to start 7-15. There really is very little precedent for a team that's 7-15 having any kind of winning season. In fact, only 7. There were more 100 loss teams in that group than there were 90 or 82 win teams. There were 10 teams lost 100 games. Only 7 had winning records.
913-381-810, the phone number 913-381-810. Jazzu J, you'll be up next when we come back. You're in the program. You're listening to the program here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We'll talk some more football coming up in our next hour. Matt Derrick is going to join us from Chiefs Digest. Get his thoughts on Andy Reid's comments today. It's draft week, people. I know this guy's excited. Yazoo Jay, you're in the program. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Soren, I don't know if it caught me, but you said it's draft week, and I said, thank goodness. But I don't know if the Royals are too depressing to even talk about or for me to comment on, so I won't touch that. But happy draft week, Soren.
Same to you, my friend.
In case I have good news. By the way, I love your draft coverage, both you've done on 810 and Red, Gold, and Bold. I've been listening to all of it, and it's been fantastic. So super excited for what's in store. We're, according to ChatGPT, we're 144 days until the first game. So that's kind of good news, bad news, I guess.
I appreciate you.
Are you using ChatGPT?
I appreciate you citing your references there. That was good.
Yeah. But yeah, I try. Curious. I'm a little disappointed with this year's draft class, and I'm even more concerned with the. Usually, it feels like there's 5 or 6 guys. You're like, oh, I really want them. And looking out at this draft class, and I've listened to all the analysis and everything. It's just really hard for me to get excited about any of these guys outside of Jordan Love, which the Chiefs don't which the Chiefs don't need another running back with Kenneth Walker, and that's why I get a little concerned when I hear Brett Veach's Friday's comments about, the fan base will be excited and all these rumors on line about him talking to Titans and Cardinals potentially moving up. Where are you at with there? Do you have any players at those top 5 picks that if he moves up, it's worth it that you see? Or,
to move up? No.
Yeah.
There's no one I see that's a move up candidate. So I would stay put. I mean, I like Jordan Tyson. I the workout that he showed, the little jumping, pirouetting, snagging the ball, and just the springiness to him. If he's healthy, I think he's the best wide receiver. But he's not healthy that often. So that's a problem. So, the players that I like now Maui Noah's got a herniated disc in his back, and so there's questions about him.
They're calling him Owie Noah. No.
Are they really?
No.
Okay. The guys that I'm with you, Caleb Downs and Jeremiah Love are the most complete players for their positions, but they play positions that you can get 80 or 90% of a lot later in the draft. So I wouldn't move up for either one of those guys. I wouldn't hate it if they're locked in there at 9, they can't get down and they have to take, one of those guys. I mean, I get your point about Love, but it would certainly be making a statement that they're going to go about playing offense different, which they need to. And, we'll hear from Andy Reid here in a little bit because I asked him about the offense and playing, running the ball with power and trying to do those kind of things. But, yeah, no, I like Tyson. Trying to think the other guys. The edge rushers, that'd be fine with any of them ending up on my team, but I think they all have question marks, at least from playing for this team. Like Bailey doesn't look like a Spagnuolo type guy. The guys who look like Spagnuolo type guys are Falk from Auburn and Zion Young from Mizzou, and they're guys that are projected to go later. So no, I don't see trading up at 9. And listen, this is one of the things I was talking about. I know some people started some crap over the weekend that Jeremy Fowler was reporting the Chiefs are talking trade with the Cardinals and Titans. There's nowhere that anybody can find where Jeremy Fowler said that. And I can assure you that is not going to happen. Like, that is not those wheels are not in motion. Do the Chiefs call every team out there to find out what their mindset is in each and every round? Like, hey, where are you looking to trade? Are you looking for more picks? Are you looking for less picks, especially in that first round where you got the best players available? Yes, they've checked in with all 31 teams as to what their mindset is so that they're prepared for anything that might happen because there's only 8 minutes on the clock. That's why we went through the exercise sitting here, calling out how fast it goes by, 8 minutes. So you got to have everything done. Any trade up or down, the numbers are already there. They've already put their picks in. You go to the Lions. Hey, Lions are on the phone. At any point, they've flipped the notebook over, and in the 5th round, the Lions have this many points and that many points. Here's what we have. Here's how we could get it. They're ready to trade up or down with any team at any time. But they are not moving up. I feel quite confident in telling you they are not moving up to 3 or 4.
I agree, Soren, and it's just not I go up and down. I've looked at draft boards from the past, there's players in the top 10. There's about half of them you get excited about. This I look and I'm like, it's just not that sexy of a draft class. And even Carnell Tate, I've seen his name. I don't think he'll be there. He's not anything right now on paper. He doesn't look like it's, the next.
Well, let me ask you this. I think Tyson's the better wide receiver prospect if they're both healthy, right? But Tyson's has not been healthy. So that means I think Tate being the number one wideout out there, I'm fine with that. But let me ask you this. What do you do when you look at a draft? Because they can't do it. I mean, this is a lot like the 2013 draft. They didn't want to take a MAC tackle that was undersized, but that was the board. It was Eric Fisher and the upside and what you could develop and Luke Jokel. And they made the right choice on that because they needed a left tackle. And so they got that right. But it wasn't an amazing board, but you still got to do something with it. So how should they look at this? This, to me, is the question. And you don't have to have just like, we're going to stick to this the entire draft. But at least at number 9, are you going high floor? Or are you like, listen, they're all kind of a gamble. Let's shoot for the moon. And if you're shooting for the moon, what does that mean? Who's the player you want shooting for the moon? Is it Reuben Bain because the tape looks really good even though he's got short arms? Is it Tyson because he's the best wide receiver and to have a number 1 wide out if you think he's got that kind of ability and you just roll the dice with the injuries? Like, what's the shoot for the moon and what's the high floor?
I think, Soren, you have to trust your board. I was excited to hear you say Tyson. I didn't think you would with the injury history. But this is where you have to say, all right, I want to see if they really do take best player available, or do we value, the high impact positions? I think you're probably at that position. For starters, if I'm Beach, who's ever calling my phone at number 9, I'm answering it and I'm trading back. That's step number 1. But you can't give it away for a bag of Cheetos, right? But again, I'm doing that. And if the trades or the offers are so crummy, then I'm picking best player available. I have 3 players that I have highlighted.
Hit me real quick. We got about 30 seconds.
Very fast. I got number 1. He's very far down there. Jeff Caldwell at Cincinnati, 6'5", 3'8", and runs under a 4.4. Okay. Ironically, you could probably get him in the 5th or 6th round. He's got a 99 athleticism score. Jeff Caldwell, Cincinnati. I kind of like Chris Brazel. I think I'm butchering his name.
Okay. Yep. I know. And give me the other one.
Denzel Boston. I'll leave it with that.
All right, buddy. I appreciate it.
Soren.
What was the third one he said?
Denzel Boston.
Denzel Boston. Okay, from Washington. Mm-hmm. All right, we'll talk some wideouts with Matt Derrick.
All right, former Chiefs running back Theodis Brown is 69 today. Who did he say was his high school locker mate? Brought to you by Twin Peaks. He has a name that echoes throughout Chiefs history. He also has a name that does not.
Matt.
He's Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest on the program.
Hour number 2 of the program begins right now with our man Matt Derrick, brought to you by our friends at Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Schedule starting to fill up. Don't wait. Get on the schedule right now. Go to GannAsphalt.com. One contractor, all things parking lot. They're Kansas City's best. Been solving parking lot problems in KC for 30 years. If you own or manage a business and you need any kind of work done on a parking lot, Gann Asphalt and Concrete, the only team you need to know. Matt, how are you, buddy?
I am doing pretty dandy today, Soren.
Are you? Are you excited about it being draft week?
I'm excited for draft week. I'm excited for Royals week. And we've got Royals and draft with this weekend at the Truman Sports Complex, so I won't have anywhere to park for Friday and Saturday. So.
So it's all about you.
It is all about me. That is exactly what I'm saying.
Okay. All right.
That's right.
Let's talk wide receivers real quick. Yazoo J was just calling in before you joined us. Do you have a wide receiver that is the guy you think would be the best fit for the Chiefs, or maybe it's up at 9, maybe it's at 29, or a later round guy that you look at and go, oh, I like it, because Yazoo J likes Jeff Caldwell from Cincinnati, who I got to go a ways down here. I'm looking here at one of the lists. There he is, 6'5" and change, 216 pounds. Clearly likes the big wideouts, because then he's also got the Tennessee wideout, Chris Brazzell, who's 6'4".
Yeah.
And he's got Daniel Boston.
Denzel.
Or Denzel. You know, there's only one Denzel in my book.
Exactly.
My man.
Who's 6'3" and 5'8", so 6'3 and a half. He likes the big wideouts.
Clearly.
You think there's any chance that's the route the Chiefs go with their wideouts?
If it's a later pick, sure. It hasn't been something that the Chiefs traditionally do. I mean, we've seen it. I mean, when they go receiver, they go for tools rather than specific physical traits. I think it's probably is time for them to probably go for some physical traits, or since you are drafting a little bit higher, both. I mean, that's the one thing that you can get higher up in the draft, is that you can get tools and size. And that's why, I mean, the guy I'm settling on, I think, is Jordan Tyson's. If you're going to go receiver, go early, go Tyson. He's the guy that everybody agrees has the highest ceiling. There's the most, I think, potential talent there. Tate's got a different skill set. You know, Lemon's different too. Tate probably has what's expected to be maybe the safest pick. I mean, I don't think he's got as high of a ceiling as Tyson does, but he probably has a higher floor than the other guys do. Lemon's kind of in between, doesn't have the ceiling, but maybe a little bit better floor than Tyson. I mean, I think you could go. I think that the Chiefs would probably be comfortable going in any of those directions. I'm just not sure that when it comes down to the ranking and order of who they're going to take. I mean, I think it would be reasonable that Tyson is their best receiver on the board, but that doesn't mean that if he's gone that they're going to go another receiver. They may go an entirely different position.
Right.
Now, I don't know if it was just cap and stance, or maybe Yazoo J happened to read the same thing that I read. It's intel from Adam Schefter about the wide receiver position, and he mentions Tyson, Brazzell, and Boston in particular, and he says of Brazzell, he has the elite talents that rival Tyson. One GM even compared him with George Pickens, but there are even more questions about his maturity than there are about Tyson. He says Boston might be the safest receiver in this draft pool, but he doesn't offer the same upside as the others. And the first mock I've seen by a reputable guy, like top shelf guy, Jordan Reed, since Jordan Tyson had his wonderful workout, actually is lower than I've seen him from anybody else. He has him going 16 to the Jets, because apparently, and this goes from Schefter as well, other teams expressed concerns about both his durability and maturity. So that might shoot him up some boards if it has an impact.
And this is, I mean, and you know, with some of the same things I've heard about, like Ruben Bain, for example. I mean, maturity being an issue with Bain, and that maybe that's a reason why he's not going to go as high as you expect. I don't know how much of we're hearing right now, and especially this week, is just gamesmanship, and how much of it is just one agent or one team, somebody's trying to get some information out there, so makes somebody else second guess themselves. I don't understand it because I mean, you heard from Brett Veach last week. I mean, I think that most NFL GMs have their own opinion. It's not like they're going to see something on ESPN and say to themselves, "Oh my gosh, I can't be taking Ruben Bain at 9." I mean, this guy's got maturity problems.
But how much is
I didn't know that.
Is what you see on ESPN? Are they actually hearing from these people in honesty? Or are they saying
exactly? I don't know. Either one of these
toss
guys
that
have
out there
maturity
for me, and I'll
problems.
help you out
Exactly.
down the road. Yeah.
Well, there'll be a guy that all the mock drafts are putting in the first round that's sitting there in the third.
Yes.
I mean, it happens every year.
Yep.
They were just never that high on the board in the real teams, and so therefore, I mean, we watch that happen always. I want to stay on Jordan Tyson because would you be comfortable with them taking him at 9?
I would. I mean, I think that this is, again, it's a pretty, I feel like, limited first round group. I think he is one of those players that I would have a first round grade on. So yeah, and I wouldn't have that many. I mean, my first round grades would probably be about 12 guys that I think are legitimate in there. And for the Chiefs standpoint, I mean, there's a few of those that were non-premium positions that I would have some heartburn about taking and maybe some considerations. And a guy like Mendoza that you're not going to have a chance for, nor would you draft anyway. So yeah, I wouldn't. There's a few guys in there that I wouldn't have a problem with, and Tyson's one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, Tyson. I think that's a mindset of, okay, we're gonna swing for the fences. Like, we think this is the upside guy, and we're gonna go for it, and hope we can keep him healthy. Hope that it was just a fluke accident. But I mean, you mentioned maturity questions. Can you put him in a room with Rashee Rice?
You might be able to, simply because you've revamped your entire coaching staff. You've got Chad O'Shea, who's a veteran, who's been around the block a few times. You don't have a young guy like Connor Embry in that room anymore. O'Shea is going to carry a big stick around there. You've got Eric Bieniemy. I mean, yes, if you've got a guy with maturity problems, I would have concerns about dropping him into the Chiefs right now. I don't think that they can work from the same premise that they have in the past, which is that, hey, this is a fantastic locker room. This is a veteran group. You can drop anybody in here, and this coaching staff and this locker room will whip him into shape. I don't know if that's true right now because they've had a lot of changeover in leadership. They're a different team than they once were. And they have got some guys who are maybe headaches or have some maturity problems already. So I don't know if I can justify, if you've got somebody that you legitimately have a red flag on your board because you've got maturity issues or questions about them, I'd have second thoughts about dropping him into this lineup.
Who's the highest ceiling guy that could land in their lap? Is it Tyson?
Of the receivers?
Of any position.
Tyson, I think, is up there. I would probably, as much as I do like Bain, I would not put him in that just because it's not guaranteed that he's going to be who you think he is. And based on his restrictions and his size, he might not be. Even if he is as good as you think he is, he's not going to be as impactful as some other big edges around the league and big sack guys. I mean, maybe he's not going to be a 16-sack guy. You could use a 10-sack guy if you're the Chiefs. So I don't know. I don't know if I'd put him there. But again, I'm not sure if I'd put a lot of guys in that group. I mean, as much as I continue to talk about it, like at corner, I mean, Jermod McCoy, if he's healthy, everything seems to suggest that this is a guy that could be an all-pro. But I don't know if he's going to be healthy. I don't know if he's healthy or not. I don't know where his shape is right now. We haven't got to see him. So that's a huge question mark. He could be in that group, but he could be one of those guys that could go really high or really low.
Who's the highest floor guy?
I mean, I would be tempted to say, from the people who are in the Chiefs range, I might go with Tate, simply because I think he's the most polished at this point.
Jeremiah Love? I know we don't think they're going to take him, but just to put him in the mix. Tate or Ward?
Love obviously would be one of these guys that I feel like, hey, you could put him in the NFL and you could be pretty sure what you've got for 4 or 5 years, and then it doesn't matter. He probably won't be anything beyond 4 or 5 years, but that's nature of the running back.
That's a reason not to take a running back in the first round.
It generally is, yes. I mean, unless you don't have one, and you've got a guy you think is going to be a
That's where,
star.
if they hadn't taken Kenneth Walker, I would think that running back, like, it's a reason to not take a running back in the first round, except for maybe in a year that you got two. You know, because, like, I think generally speaking, and listen, most first-round picks don't get offered the fifth year, right? So most first-round picks are failures if the measuring stick is to get a second contract, to be so good that we have to sign this guy to a second contract. Most of the time, first-round picks fail. But so this would be a time to say, okay, we'll take that shot. But when you make that pick, you're wanting someone that you think is going to be a two-contract guy. And, you know, I could see – I think the safest pick that's also kind of a need that fits their scheme, just because I think he can fit any scheme, is Ward, the safety. But I don't think that's where they want to go. We've heard Brett Veach already say, you know, the premium positions you have to draft high. So that to me says
Downs.
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 Caleb
I think
Downs,
you said
the
Ward.
safety.
Yes, Downs, the
Just
safety.
in case
I do the
Who the
same
hell's that?
thing.
Yeah, sorry. Downs, the safety from Ohio State. But I think that leads me to believe that he's going to take D tackle, edge rusher, corner, wide out, or offensive tackle.
I do wonder if, like, a Jordan Tyson's gone, a Reuben Bain is gone. You know, then you might get into a category there where maybe your best three guys left on the board are Mansour Delane, maybe Sonny Styles, I can't talk today, and Caleb Downs. And then in that case, and that's a type of scenario like that, I would probably be very, very tempted to take Caleb Downs, simply because you're right. I mean, this is the guy that, you know, people compare to Tyrann Mathieu. I mean, he can do a little bit of everything. He's physical. He looks polished. He looks ready to start day one. He would be another one of those guys that you would say, hey, has the highest, probably one of the higher floors and definitely one of the higher ceilings. Or, excuse me, other way around. High floor.
Low.
But probably a high ceiling. Even if he met his low ceiling, he's probably still going to be a pretty good player.
Well, but I think if you're just going to say, all right, we're going to go for it in every round, you take Tyson at 9, you take Caleb Banks at 29, the defensive tackle from Florida. I mean, you could you know, I know you could also watch both those guys be hurt.
Yeah.
And use 2 first-round picks and get nothing. So my assumption is that they'll swing for the fences with one and go safe with the other.
I think that's generally a good outlook to have in a situation like this. I mean, they've got 3 picks in the top 40. So, yes. I mean, taking a swing, I think, with your 9 picks, which you don't I mean, this team's not going to have 9 picks most of the time if their plan goes to schedule. So
well, they should start making it their plan more often, but
they should not be drafting 9 again in their hopes. So
9. I thought you ment the 9 picks. I'm talking about the 9 picks. They should be getting more picks moving forward. But
you and I agree. I mean, they probably need to come out. They need to come out of this draft with like 4 starters. And you know, hey, you're hoping that if you go for it and swing for the fences, that you're going to get a superstar, all-pro caliber player at 9. Then yeah, I do think you need to go safer and pick guys that you just know are going to be guaranteed starters. Maybe they're not going to light the world on fire, but they're going to be good quality players for you.
Let's take a break. I want to talk about the Dexter Lawrence trade. I want to hear from Andy Reid as well. Matt Derrick is with us. He's brought to you by our friends at Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Find them online at GannAsphalt.com. We'll come back, get deeper into the Kansas City Chiefs here on Draft Week with Matt Derrick next.
The program with Soren Petro.
What do you think?
Weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
You know, the Plumbing Pro's got you covered no matter what your plumbing problem might be. Listen, if it won't flush, if you can't do a load of laundry, you got a problem with your water heater, whatever it might be, don't stress. Just make sure you know my guys. The ones to know are the Plumbing Pro. You can find them online at theplumbingpro.com. That's theplumbingpro.com. Sewer, septic, drain installation or repair. Yes, they do all of that as well. In fact, they're experts. Sometimes you got to break out the heavy equipment. They can do that. Other times you don't. Listen, if you've got some kind of sewer, an underground sewer line problem, maybe you've been quoted like, okay, we got to dig everything out. Did you know that they can use their low-impact pipe bursting and help save your landscape, driveways, and sidewalks? Yes, you don't necessarily have to dig everything up. The Plumbing Pro is an expert in all things plumbing, in every possible solution. So whatever the easiest, best solution is for you, that's what they're going to use. So what are you waiting for? Go to theplumbingpro.com or call 816-763-8200. Locally owned and operated since 1980. Listen, that's important. There are a lot of companies out there that maybe are still carrying the same name, but they sold out long ago, and you're just a number. I know, because we were using one of those plumbing services till Tim Grumhard said to me, go to Steve, go call the Plumbing Pro. That's what we did, and we'll use no one else when it comes to our plumbing but the Plumbing Pro. So whether it's sewer, septic, drain installation, like I said, hot water heater, laundry's not working, drain's not draining, toilet's not flushing, don't waste your whole Saturday trying to chase that problem. Call the experts. Call the Plumbing Pro, 816-763-8200. Find them online at theplumbingpro.com.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At Heartland Men's Health, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an
All right, the Twin Peaks end of the hour answer. We're back into the 80s. Former Chiefs running back Theodis Brown, 69 today. He's probably rocking to this song then. Who did he say was his high school locker mate? Who was Theodis Brown's high school locker mate at, I think it was Skyview High School in Oakland? It wasn't a football player, but he is very famous.
MC Hammer.
No.
Good try.
No.
Good try.
No.
Yeah. Try again.
Oh, you must know the answer.
I do, because I was like, I have no idea where are we going with this. And Kurtis and I used to do pregame with Theodis. We love Theodis, a great guy.
Oh yeah,
Prince of a guy. But back in the day, we did pregame together, and I didn't remember this.
John Madden's son.
That's not bad.
not a bad guess. That's not a bad guess.
Roy Williams or Bill Self?
No, that's not a bad guess either.
Tom Hanks.
Jenny.
There you go.
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks, he says.
He says, I'm not a smart man, but I know what a running back looks like.
Run, Forrest, run.
Run, Theodis, run. And Theodis, he just kept running. He was a running back.
Yes. Tom Hanks was his locker partner?
Hanks.
Is that what it was?
That's crazy.
Skyview
Did not
High
know
School
that, man.
Yeah.
in Oakland.
So how about that?
Oakland Tom Hanks.
Can't believe that on all those talk show appearances that Tom Hanks hadn't had some Theodis Brown stories to tell.
Well, maybe he did. We just haven't heard the right one.
It's true.
So don't sell it short. Yeah, very impressive. Tom Hanks.
What's he ever done?
A couple things here or there.
Bought an island.
He did a great movie called Bachelor Party. I think that was the highlight of his career, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it was Bosom Buddies.
Yeah, could have been.
Bosom Buddies was excellent. Here's the question, though. Is which is the best of the Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan movies?
What ones? What are they?
Meg Ryan.
You've got Mail. You got Sleepless in Seattle.
That was
Sleepless in Seattle, I think, is the one that most people would say.
Yeah.
And Joe versus the Volcano, which is the correct answer.
Joe versus the Volcano is?
Joe versus Volcano is the correct answer to that question.
Really?
Yes. You got Abe Vigoda in this film. You got Dan Hedaya.
I mean, Abe Vigoda, right? Alone
that
sells
alone
it.
right there.
Did he ask anyone to get him off the hook? For old time's sake.
The Tom Hanks movie library. Before, what was the one that made him? Was it Philadelphia? Was that the first one he did where it was like a dramatic role? Or, Splash kind of made him a star, but before that he had like The Man with One Red Shoe. And
he said I did see him say once that he really didn't know how to act until after Dragnet. So.
Okay, good to know. Dan Aykroyd and him.
Splash, Bachelor Party, Man with One Red Shoe, Volunteers, The Money Pit. Nothing in Common, blah, blah, blah.
The Money
Dragnet.
Pit had its moments.
Big was I think, his first.
That was probably the one that made him a big star.
Yeah.
All right, we got Matt Derrick here, so let's talk movies.
A League of Their Own's my favorite Hanks role, though.
I love that when it said he was in the bathroom reading his contract. And
Turns
out I get a bonus if we win.
That's also the movie where I discovered David Strathairn, who plays the guy that travels with the team. I've got to clean this line up. Excellent piece of coaching, Jimmy. Especially love that part where you scratched your blank for an hour. Could you be more disgusting? Well, if we paid you more, could you be more disgusting? Well, I try.
When I said Matt Derrick's here, so let's talk movies, I was not serious.
Kurtis took it off the rails.
There was silence, which I took as go ahead.
Proceed at your own risk.
Yes, at least I used a sports movie.
Yeah, that is. You sure did. Wow, bang up job.
Yep.
That's why I love you guys.
All right. Well, thank you, Matt. We love you too. All right. So Dexter Lawrence was traded from the New York Giants to the Cincinnati Bengals for the number 10 pick. Let's start with this. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. You said you wouldn't give up a first-round pick. It clearly would have taken number 9. So just to get you on the record, you would not have given up number 9.
No.
Okay.
And then given the contract? No. No.
Yeah, and what are the numbers on the contract? Have we seen dollar figures yet on what it is.
I hadn't yet, so I didn't know if I was just out of the loop or.
He'll turn 29 this year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to me, what this says more than anything is why didn't the Chiefs trade Chris Jones?
That's a fair question. Yeah, no.
Oh, thanks.
I mean, there are some eerie parallels here, and to me, I think Dexter Lawrence is even more. I mean, as good as he has been, he's been on a slide for 2 years, and I know the Giants followers will say, "Hey, that team's still a lot better with him on the field when not." And when he's off the field, they're literally the worst defense in the league. And when he's on the field, that they're at least midpoint. But that doesn't explain 0.5 sacks, and it doesn't explain your pressures and hits dropping by 2/3 over 2 years. I mean, he's going in the wrong direction at the wrong time of his career. And so paying for 29, 30, and 31 seasons, that's a tough bite for me for a veteran who's already seeing his numbers decline. And I feel like at their ages, I feel like Chris Jones was still a better player than Dexter Lawrence is. I mean, I know people love Dexter Lawrence, but at 28, I would have taken 28 going on 29. I would have taken Chris Jones over Dexter Lawrence at this point.
Right, and I think the rest of the NFL would too. So I think the return would have been even better.
Potentially, yeah.
Well, I mean, since this, he signed the last deal when in 5 for $158 going into his 30-year-old season, right? And that was after having a franchise tag thrown on him in 23. So going into that 23, which was his 29-year-old season, he was coming off of a 15.5 sack year. What would the Chiefs have gotten? I mean, you don't know. Yeah. They might not have gotten even the number 10 pick. I mean, you catch the Bengals where they've got a coach that's probably in a make-or-break year now. And so, you like, just because, one guy brings a first doesn't mean that, okay, so that's the starting point. I mean, we talked about that with Trent McDuffie. Now, they did end up getting a first, but they didn't get 2 firsts.
Right.
Right? They got a first and a third, right? That was what the deal ended up being with the Rams. So, it doesn't mean that, okay, because Lawrence brought number 10, you'd get better than that. But it also doesn't mean you wouldn't. And I'm going to say, like, I wholeheartedly agree with their decision to trade Trent McDuffie.
But McDuffie was a first, a fifth this year, and a third next year.
Yeah. So I wholeheartedly agree with that decision. But they should have made the same decision on Chris Jones.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, the one thing that the Giants at least had going for them is that the Bengals, for whatever reason, are desperate. I mean, and I get it. It's the front office and the coaching staff that feels like they've got to win this year or else. And now looking at it, I mean, I guess that the Bengals just gave him an extra year and $28 million onto his existing contract. So he gets $28 million more dollars. It's not a huge deal, but then that's the other part of it is that you gave up the number 10 pick, and you're not securing this guy for multiple seasons and giving him a lengthier contract. I mean, it's a very 1 year take a shot at it kind of deal. And I get, like I said, I mean, everybody in Cincinnati and that team knows that this is their shot. If this doesn't work out, they're all going to be hosed out next season. So you have to have that team. Was that team available when Chris would have been tradable? If that had been, maybe you do get the first round pick plus something else. So maybe you get a little bit better than what the Giants returned. But it's also possible that there's nobody that's desperate out there, and maybe you get somebody who will say, well, we'll take we're going to take the financial hit and sign him, but we don't want to give up too much, so we'll give you a second.
If in 2023's draft, if they had moved Chris Jones, Jalen Carter went 9, Bijan Robinson went 8, Jahmyr Gibbs went 12. Most people had the Chiefs liking Jahmyr Gibbs. They'd have been able to get after that. I mean, would have been nice to have seen a first-round pick, an extra first-round pick, and I don't think they'd have had the year they had last year. I mean, here's the thing, and I'd say this every time he signs. This is what Chris Jones has done since they signed him to that deal: 5 sacks and 7 sacks.
Yeah.
He had 10.5 in the franchise tag year, And he got to 10.5 because they played him in a game that nobody else was playing in,
just to get
so
his
that
bonus.
he could get his $1 million bonus and save face.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope that the Chiefs, start making the decision they made with Trent McDuffie every time, not because not because the cap says you have to, but because this is how we do things around here. We look at it and go, okay, why are we going to pay for ages 30, 31, 32 at a massive amount when he's going to be a declining player? What do you think Chris Jones is going to do this year?
I mean, I can't bet on any type of improvement. I have to assume that Chris is going to just continue a slow decline. Maybe it'll be a rapid decline.
Yeah, I think if they do find, let's say they took Caleb Banks from Florida and he's healthy and they put him next to him, then I do think you'll see the numbers go up. I mean, I do think Chris Jones is still certainly their best defensive lineman. He is still certainly a very good player. It's just the $45 million cap hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for a guy who now, to get the most out of him, probably needs some help.
Yeah.
That's not something you want to. A guy with that who gets that kind of money should be the one who is the help, not needs help.
I mean, I don't like in some years maybe it's a bad year and they only get a second. Fine, that's $45 million you have in cap room now.
Yeah. And I mean, there's an interesting question to me, and you're talking about if you traded him during the 23 draft. I mean, on the one hand, do you still win a Super Bowl that season with a rookie Jalen Carter and no Chris Jones? And then what happens in 24? Does that change anything in 24? I mean, do you now win a Super Bowl against the Eagles because you got Jalen Carter and they got Chris Jones?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. But I mean, I think if you start making those decisions every time, you're going to be the best team you can be.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to be like, well, this is the year we're going to do it, but this year we're not. We're going to keep this guy because we like him. You just say this is the math. 30-year-old players don't play very well in the NFL unless they're a quarterback or probably an offensive lineman.
And we've got 15. We don't necessarily have to. We're not playing for 2023. We're playing for 2024, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
So,
and it would have taken. The reason they got to 10 was because there was a team at 10 that needed that player. You may not find that guy at 10 and 23, but you'd find him somewhere in a premium spot. Someone in a 10-pick stretch is going to go, that's our guy.
Yeah.
I would like to think.
I don't know. I mean, to me, building a roster, it's really, really difficult. And some of the decisions that you have to make, I mean, I don't envy a general manager who has to, because, I mean, with the Chris Jones thing, I get it's a ton of money, and you could absolutely be saying that, hey, you don't need to be spending that $45 million on Chris Jones. It needs to be spent elsewhere. But at the same time, paying Chris Jones, I mean, I don't know what they would have done otherwise. I mean, they have no Chris Jones replacement. It's a little bit about the same thing you got with Travis Kelce. They have nobody to replace Chris Jones, and you're not going to get a Chris Jones replacement on free agency. They don't exist.
Well, you were 6-11 with him.
But again, you go back to it. It's like, okay, well, why do you do that? Well, I think if your Brett Veach strategy, I think part of it worked, which was obviously, hey, your plan trying to get Super Bowls in 23 and 24. He definitely helped you get there. 24 maybe it was not as big of a piece as he has been, but he helped you win one and get to another.
Oh, I don't think I'm not here. My point isn't to say Brett Veach is an idiot. That's not at all what I'm saying. I mean, I get why they did it, and like I said, he is their best defensive lineman. But I think the big picture is that all of these decisions connect with all the other decisions. And so I think you've got to get to the point that you start making the choices of always doing what's best for the long haul, and that will make you better in the now every year moving forward. But it'll take a couple of years, but 2 years down the road, like right now, if you didn't have him and you had $45 million more to spend in free agency, and you had another, let's just make it Jalen Carter. Let's say it was pick 9, and you have Jalen Carter right now. He's a better player. Now, he's a head case. I don't know that that's the guy they would have taken, but there are a number of guys, another number of directions. Like I said, they did like Gibbs. Mm-hmm. And so if you had Jahmyr Gibbs on this team for the last 3 years,
they definitely win an extra and one more Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, I think that would be the difference. I don't think you bottom out like you did last year and Hell, maybe Patrick Mahomes is healthier because he's not running all over the place for his life because you're actually running the football. You're playing from in front. Maybe he never goes down. So I just think, that's no one's trading for Chris Jones now at this age and that price. No one is going to trade for him. But Creed Humphrey's contract's going to come up, right? And this next time he's going to be like 29, 30. Now, center I would probably stick with, but I would go ahead and give him another contract. But at guard, when Trey Smith's contract comes up and he's still going to be pretty young, he's going to be at that 29, 30 age. If you can get a pick, you move him. I mean, if you can't find a starting guard in every draft, you're fired.
I mean, and that's exactly what they did with Joe Tooney. I mean, they moved on from Joe Tooney, even though they could have given him a third contract, but they wanted to go ahead and get younger and cheaper, so they go with Kingsley. And I don't think it was necessarily a bad decision. I mean, I think it's what they have to do.
It was half right. Yeah. The other half would have been to walk on Trey Smith, too. If we want to go down there, they should have walked on that, too.
Again, let the Bengals be your cautionary tale, because had they just given money to Trey Hendrickson, they'd have a supreme player at a just as important, if not a more important position, and they'd have the number 10 pick.
And that's another minor part of the Chris Jones deal. And I get no, I'm not justified in saying that this is like $45 million reason to give it and everything, but had the team, I think, walked on Chris Jones, I think that would have sent more shockwaves through that locker room than it would have been with it was with Trent McDuffie, because I think that the players on this team truly feel like, hey, this was a little bit of, hey, best for the team, best for the player, because they knew that, hey, Trent wants to get paid. He wants to go home to L.A., all of these things. So I don't think there was any hostility either way on that one.
How much should that matter, though?
Why?
It's worth something. I'm not saying it's worth $45 million.
But 3 years, something. 3 years from now, only 6 guys in the locker room will still be here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we do it every year. Like 4 years ago, there are only 7 guys that are still on this team.
And Pat and Trav would have been on board, and they would have been, at least within the locker room, they would have been, all right, hey, guys, I need you to do this for me. It would have been okay.
There's a difference from all of us kind of knowing that versus them knowing that. And, you already have players who already, some, and these are the ones that
if Andy Reid can't explain it to him, why are you giving him $20 million?
Yeah. I think they'd know it more than we.
If he can't stand up in front and be like, it's a business, guys, like, hey, that's a lot of money. He's a great player. I mean, I watched Rex Ryan do it on Hard Knocks when he was talking about Darrelle Revis holding out. And he was like, hey, is Revis a great player? He's a great player. But he's not here right now. And sit there and address the team about, like, he's doing what he's got to do. We got to do what we got to do. I mean, what are they like? Oh, I don't know if we can do it without Chris, coach. I don't think I'm coming to work today. What's going to be their response?
Well, it's not that. I mean, as much as, there's no doubt. I mean, if you've got people, you've got a locker room full of players who don't know what their future is, and they look at it and say, hey, if this team's not even going to, pay Chris Jones, they're not going to pay me. So my days are numbered. So, I mean, you can't have a bunch of guys thinking that. And, like I said, I don't think, and I'm not saying it's worth $45 million. I'm saying it's worth something. And I like this too. I think that.
Well, they paid them all, and they went 6-11.
I think they had a plan with Chris Jones in the sense that, okay, we're going to have a big number for him, but you draft a guy like Omar Norman Lott, you draft a defensive tackle in 25 with the idea that as Chris starts to get more expensive and as he maybe declines a little bit, now you're supplementing him with somebody who's a whole lot cheaper. So 2 players, are they giving you $45 million worth of value or $47 million in value if you want to throw in Omar's cost? Probably not, but they're getting you closer, was the theory.
That's why I keep coming back to the cap part. Like, that's the part nobody ever measures, is that every dollar you count against the cap is a negative towards you. Right? And so having 40, or $40 million, you give a draft pick to $5 million. You've got $40 million more to spend on other players. It's not just Chris Jones versus the pick. It's Chris Jones versus the pick and $40 million more to be spent elsewhere. That $40 million might have been, some of it might have been Trent McDuffie. Some of it might have been, take your pick of whatever quality free agents that have been out there for the last 3 years. The cap space matters, and just getting rid of that giant number matters.
And and now some of it also is, you've restructured that deal a couple of times, so you move the money around. So you're paying for this year some of Chris Jones that you really got in 23 and 24, rather than as much as you are paying for Chris Jones in 26.
Fair point.
So you got to accept that a little bit.
But
again,
when you go down this road, you're going to have to pay for 3 years.
Yeah, and you're going to have to take the bite at some point. I mean, it's going to hit you. It's going to hurt. I mean, they can at some point they can renegotiate with Chris Jones again and bring the number down and continue doing that. But I mean, eventually you are going to pay the piper.
Yeah. What's the next player they're going to have to decide on?
Oh man, I got to get through this draft first, don't I, Soren? I mean,
it's not this draft that you have to ask it about because
it's going to be the 23 draft.
23
right?
draft.
Yeah.
It's Rashee Rice, Wanya Morris, Jamari Connor, B.J. Thompson, Keandre Colburn, and Nick Jones.
And that's why I'm not too worried about it.
And FAU, which they're not going to give the 5th year to.
Yeah.
And then next year you're going to have to. It'll be questions on Xavier Worthy, Kingsley Suamataia, Jared Wiley. I mean, I think. If you're carrying, this is the reason on Trey Smith too. Like, are you going to turn around and sign Kingsley Suamataia?
I mean, at this point, it would be a no. But he's got another.
Yeah, he was
2 years
good last year.
It.
Yeah,
got another 2 years to prove it.
All right, let's take a break. We'll hear from Andy Reid next here in the program.
The program with Soren Petro.
One's got a huge long one, and one's got the regular size one. The great big long was too much.
Weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, listen up. Beautiful weather outside. Are you taking advantage of it? Thanks to our friends at All Weather Decks. We took advantage of it last night. Dinner out on the porch. We love it. If you don't have that dream outdoor living space, you can't do it, though. And we've got the best weather going. They're only 6 or 7 weeks away from starting your project, which means you basically got all summer to enjoy a new beautiful deck, patio, screened-in porch. You name it, they build it and build it better than anybody else. That's why they're a 24-time winner of the Angie Super Service Award. It's why they carry an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. Get on the schedule today. Schedule your free consultation right now by calling 913-206-1974. Tell them you heard about it right here on Sports Radio 810. Tell them Petro sent you. Tell them you want your dream outdoor living space. Whether it's a deck, a patio, look, it's just a great place to relax, unwind. Thunderstorms, love to get outside under the dry underdecking they built for us. All weather decks will do that. Basically, you've got like a roof over your head when you're underneath your deck. If you've got a deck that comes out over like maybe a patio, that's a great option. I encourage you to do that. Go to allweatherdecks.net. Look at the photos of finished projects. You can get lots of great ideas there. Like I said, see all the awards they've won. Even get an estimate started today at allweatherdecks.net. That's allweatherdecks.net. Or just give them a call. Talk to them. They do great when it comes to the customer service. They're incredible on the craftsmanship, and they're only 6 or 7 weeks away from starting your project. So call today at 913-206-1974. Find them online at allweatherdecks.net and relax.
Hey Kansas City, it's Brian Pringle with Victory Ford at the Legends in KCK. April showers are here, and at Victory Ford, that means one thing. Big discounts are pouring down. We're celebrating 10 years of doing business the right way and making your car buying journey fun, fast, and easy. Right now, we've got the biggest discounts of the year on all remaining 2025 F-150s, America's favorite truck. Plus, take advantage of just 3.9% financing for 72 months available. That's power, performance, and serious savings all in one. Looking for something versatile and affordable? Check out the 20...
All right, let's hear a little Andy Reid from today. The head coach of the Chiefs did a Zoom. Matt asked him this question: how much of the offense is in right now?
Yeah, so we have a pretty good idea of the guys that are here, and then any new addition we can always add to or take out. But we've got, we have a pretty good idea who the main guys are that are here. So we've had this extended off season, and we've been able to dive in there and really work with the plan for this coming season. We think we've got good direction in which we're going, and we'll see how it all formulates by the time we get it out of these OTAs and into camp, and then out of camp and into the season.
What did you take from that?
Yeah, I mean, I was asking because I was just really kind of curious that if they're taking somebody at 9 and it is an offensive player, if this is somebody significant, are there substantial changes that you make to the plans that you've come up with? Because they start OTAs in 3 weeks, and that's when they start installs. So it's not like, they've got a playbook. They've got their plan in place for the 2026 season. So now it's time to execute it. I was just wondering how that would, how they kind of fit in. At this point, is it all completely done? Are you waiting until after the draft to figure out what piece you have? And his answer was basically no. We'll draft somebody, and if we take a receiver and somebody we can plug in, we will. But we're not going to necessarily add a lot. We're not going to take out a lot. We're just going to kind of plug these guys in, is what I took away from it.
Do you think? Give me this one too. I want you to hear this. I asked Reid if they, as far as the running game goes, if they want to run with more power.
Yeah, Soren. You know how this thing goes. That you want to be able to throw as many things at a defense as you possibly can. Defenses are complicated in today's world. They create crazy matchups and coverages versus all these different formations that the offense has come up with for confusion's sake. To neutralize that, here you come back with the run game. And if you run effectively, it kind of balances some things out there with these bizarre secondary looks that you're getting. So, I think that's important. It's positive if you can do that. We feel like we have the people to do it, not only in the backfield but also up front to do even better than what we did last year.
What'd that tell you?
Starting to have a quote from my grandmother in the back of my mind that I'm not sure is appropriate for radio, so I'll try and clean it up. But you probably said something similar. You put hope in one hand and
crap in one hand, hope in one hand, crap in the other.
See which one fills up faster. There you go. I do. I think they're going to be better, but I'm glad you asked the question because he continued to kind of say what he's been saying, which is that they didn't have the personnel and the wherewithal to run the football last year and to do it effectively. This year they feel like that they do. They went out and got a guy. Now it's going to be, are they making enough changes on the offense to do it?
Well, I think from guard to guard, it's the same people. I hear what you're saying. What I wonder is, what I would like to know is, like you mentioned, they start installing the offense here in a couple of weeks. Is like once that's set, is that it? There's no going back.
It's hard.
Because during the season, Andy Reid will tell you, well, that's the great thing about this offense. It's so diverse. We can really do anything with it. Okay, well, then run the ball. Get under center. And they never did it. So my assumption is that that's going to happen this year. That's what I want to believe is what I was hearing is him saying, we're going down that road. But proof will be in the pudding.
It will be. And, I still keep hearing him. That's about the most we've heard in this offseason. This is about the closest that Andy Reid ever gets to saying that our guys weren't good enough last year in the backfield.
Yeah, you're probably right. Matt, enjoy the draft. We'll break it all down next Monday.
Sounds great.
All right, among retired NFL quarterbacks, who lost the most games in his final year? Brought to you by La Feta Delicatessen.
Second half of the program begins right now with the 2-minute drill brought to you by our friends at Jocelyn's Jewelry, voted Kansas City's #1 jewelry store. Mother's Day's right around the corner. If you haven't gotten Mom a gift, get over to Jocelyn's Jewelry, whether it's your mom, your wife. They've got a beautiful necklace. Maybe it's earrings, maybe some diamond stud earrings. How about maybe a tennis bracelet? You name it, they've got it. Jocelyn's Jewelry, voted the #1 jewelry store in Kansas City by Ingram's Magazine. Almost 50 years. They have been Kansas City's best. Almost 1,000 engagement rings to choose from as well. Happy to do repairs also. Find them online at jocelynsjewelry.com. See them in person at 95th and Antioch. Let's get things going. We begin in Minneapolis, Minnesota. That is where Eric Norquist, KFAN, is located. Eric, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing very well. You tell me, what are the Twins? Got off to a hot start, now sitting in third place at 500. Are they going to be a contender, or was that just kind of a little burst, and now they're going to go back to where most people had them, which was 4th in the American League Central?
Yeah, I think it was a burst, and it's not that this team can, in the end, compete on a day-to-day basis and be entertaining at times. But you were getting a bunch of offense, and that has cooled a bit. You were getting tremendous pitching. Now, Taj Bradley, it's early, 5 starts. Is he just a flash in the pan? I hope not, because he has been electric thus far in 2026. But the bullpen's going to bleed this team dry. You saw it yesterday with the 3 runs in the 9th, give up 3 more in the 10th, 2 days prior. The trickle effect, 7, 8, 9, just one by one, and these Reds get out alive with the sweep in the end. The bullpen is a disaster. It's awful. Excited to see Royce Lewis back in the mix tomorrow. But from a young kid standpoint, you're leaning on a lot of Austin Martins. You're trying to figure out who the Victor Caratinis are. You're hoping Luke Keeschel can find his bat. Byron Buxton, one of your mainstays, you're hoping he can find a bat somewhere. Again, they will be entertaining at times this year, but regression to normalcy for what was expected, very much in process. And, tomorrow, facing a Mets team that's lost 11 in a row, what a crazy, awful run they've been on. Somebody's L streak has to end. Simeon Woods-Richardson on the mound for the Twins, though, tells me that the Mets might find their way to a W tomorrow.
No, all right. Not a whole lot of optimism there. What about optimism when it comes to pick number 18 with the Vikings?
Well, this is, it gets really fun and certainly more optimistic than the baseball team right now. The thing for the Vikings is on Thursday night, you could say, hey, they went with a safety. Wouldn't surprise me. I think, a Thieneman, McNeil, Allen, I'm sure in Kansas City they've been bouncing all sorts of names with the spot you guys are in Chiefs territory. But if a Kenyon Sadiq, the Oregon tight end, falls, that would be awesome. This is a team full of needs, and therefore there's a handful of different routes, cornerback as well, several routes that this team could go and find a really good body at that spot. And so with interim or acting general manager Rob Brzezinski, for him, I don't want to say there isn't pressure. Let's get this draft right. This is a team, again, that needs healthy, needs productive bodies via the draft, something we haven't really been able to say with any level of frequency in a number of years. But optimism in terms of the draft, the ability to get a good player starting on Thursday night with pick 18, feeling very good about it. To that end, safety and defensive tackle, I can tell you, have been two of the biggest talkers among Vikings fans and on our show on The Fan in Minneapolis, targeting one of those 2 spots earlier than later and potentially at pick 18. That's really been the focal point and really have driven a lot of the conversations around the draft for us.
All right, we'll see if they can get it done. Can the T-Wolves get it done against the Denver Nuggets? The Nuggets were red hot coming into these playoffs. They've had some really good series in the postseason before. Do the T-Wolves stand a chance?
If this trend continues, which I don't see why it won't, I feel that the Timberwolves will likely lose in 5. Geez, not very optimistic from me today. I'm sorry. You and I have talked about Anthony Edwards. We've talked about the chemistry on this team. We've seen the jarring interactions between the coach and his star player in games. This is an emotionally volatile team. that lacks consistency, lacks chemistry. And the consistency end of it played out in game one, as you saw. And Anthony Edwards, by the way, the superstar that he is, he's battling this knee. It's nasty, and he's playing through it. But all that said, when they're not moving the ball and he just dribbles it into the abyss and then ends up taking a bad three-point shot or makes a decision that is contrary to how the offense needs to run, this team suffers mightily. And that in combination with Julius Randle, when he disappears from a game, man, I don't know if he's in the arena. It's so bad. And what we saw in game one, a Jokic that defensively the Wolves were very good against in the first half, still one of the world's best. He's going to find his way to a triple-double. Jamal Murray versus this series 2 years ago is healthy and so much better. And his savviness to find his way to the line, 16 of 16 from the stripe, so impressive in game one. And the things that you saw that were ugly with the Wolves in game one mirrored some of the talkers that existed throughout the season. Always hoping, going to 2 straight Western Conference finals, that they can flip a switch and things are going to find their way to the good again. That switch can be flipped when this team's running. This team's running hot, and they're as good as anybody. But in this particular case, it was a slow drowning effect on Saturday, and it's worrisome moving forward in the series.
If they don't move forward, is Chris Finch out?
Man, that's tough. New ownership. They want to put their thumbs on everything, and Finch, as good a relationship as he has, I'm not good at that, Soren, when it comes to predicting a coach's downfall. It is simmering. The seat is simmering and very close to a boil, and if it was a sweep or it was a 5 and it continues this trend, it would not surprise me at all, sadly, if the team had to move on from him.
Yeah, it feels like, they kind of shook it up. They've made a couple of trades. They've tried that, and they're not moving forward. They're going to be looking for more wholesale changes. But I don't know. They've got a star. It just seems like they're kind of stuck in neutral, but I guess we'll find out. Eric Norquist in Minneapolis. Great stuff as always, buddy. We appreciate it. Have a great week, my friend.
Yeah, you too. Take care.
Damon Bruce, The Damon Bruce Show. You can find him at Damon Bruce Plus on YouTube. In San Francisco, California's next. Damon, how are you, buddy?
Soren, great to talk to you, man.
Great to talk to you. And the Warriors, are they done? I mean, are they going to quit trying to run it back? Are they going to quit trying to kid themselves like they're still a championship team that just needs to be healthy at the end of the year and admit that this thing needs to be blown up?
Oh, there's a major retinkering that needs to be done. Obviously, the two biggest players in Steph Curry and Kerr, I think, are going to remain. I know that looked like a big, long goodbye. We'll see about Steve Kerr. It is his last year, but I think it'd be silly to cut bait with him. Obviously, Steph isn't going anywhere, but the DNA of this team needs to change, and something different needs to happen. And I don't think it's going to be as big as Giannis, or they're going to be adding Kawhi Leonard necessarily, but they need to build a better team around Steph Curry than what they've done by him. I reject the notion that they've wasted Steph Curry's career, because in the prime of Steph Curry's career, they won 4 championships. But they have squandered what should be a better lit twilight, shall we say, than what we've seen over the last few years here. And Joe Lacob has gone from franchise-saving owner to a bit of an over-tinkerer here in the last couple of seasons.
What's amazing to me with guys like Steph Curry, and it's true of LeBron and Kevin Durant, like the inability to understand that if you want to win championships, you got to seed, and maybe LeBron finally has with the Lakers, but you got to seed being the alpha dog, right? Because your body just can't do it. You break down if you play the kind of minutes it takes to be the alpha. But these guys all want to still score 30 points a game and still, be the man, but they're not equipped to do it, right?
I'll just say that Steph suffers from zero alpha dog syndrome. He knows he's the man. Everybody on the court knows that he's the man, but he's not pounding his chest saying, we got to do it my way. I'm Superman. Forget about Batman needing his Robin. Steph has always been very conscientious about sharing the court with legitimate talent, and I just think the talent around him has let him down more than Father Time has crept on him, more than injuries are going to creep up on him. Look, when you can shoot, you can shoot, you can shoot, you can shoot. So I actually think that Steph is going to have a longer career than a lot of people are anticipating here. Will he be able to have the constant, never stopping motion level of on-court play. I don't know if he's built to do that, but at some point, he's going to be a spot-up shooter in the corner that nobody in the world can ignore. Steph is the opposite of any, we got to do it my way, I'm the problem. If anything, I think Steph might be a little guilty of not being demanding enough on getting the help around him, and this was what led them to the ill-fated James Wiseman trade, the hanging on way too long to Jonathan Kuminga. The problems that the Warriors have just are not Steph Curry problems.
All right, let's talk about the San Francisco 49ers. They get the deal done with Trent Williams, 2 for $50, $37 million guaranteed. Smart move or too much money for a player who's been banged up a lot here of late?
I think it had to happen. I mean, when you don't have any alternative, I don't think that there's any deal that could be made, players that could be drafted, which would leave them with a better player at left tackle week 1. Now, week 17 is guaranteed for no one, and Trent getting through the years healthy, like any older player, is hard to do, but he is still, when healthy, an A-plus football player. The only thing that's wrong with him is the aging process, and since we're all going through it, I don't know if there's anything really wrong with that. The price point that he's locked in at is about to just become the price of a cheeseburger around the world. I mean, every single player in football who is regarded as elite is about to be making between 20 and 25 million, regardless of position. I know that there's still a little sticker shock on this, and there's no doubt a player of his age is usually more on their way out than in, but you can look at Pro Football Focus and you can just watch your own naked eyes to realize that this is still the man when it comes to playing left tackle. So I don't think it's a problem yet, but clearly there's not a very huge future with anyone who's 38 years old in the NFL, but there's still very much a present for Trent Williams.
6 picks for the 49ers starting at number 27. What do they have to get done in the draft?
Well, I do think that the offensive line just got deprioritized a touch, not all the way. I mean, taking a guy like Ionicher out of Arizona State and asking him to play guard as he's getting ready to be your tackle of the future, that is not out of the question. I think Cassius Howell from Texas A&M, with all of their pass rush problems last year, that could certainly be in play. Wide receiver types, Casey Concepcion, Omar Cooper Jr. out of Indiana, they've been bandied about. I wouldn't be surprised, though, at all, Soren, if the deal was at 27, they're able to trade down, trade back, accumulate more picks. Like you said, only 6 picks. So look for them to be very active in the trade market come Thursday.
Yeah, all right. We'll see if they get it done. What about the Giants? Do they, they made some, atypical moves, to say the least, in the offseason. Now sitting at 9-13. Where's the patience from the fans?
Well, patience is wearing thin everywhere, just in the world these days, much less around sports. And it's easy to, point at the neophyte manager who's never done it at the major league level before, and it might be on him. But it really isn't Tony Vitello at all. The problem here is, Rafael Devers has not been the back of his baseball card since they've traded for him. Jung-Hoo Lee is one of the biggest wastes of money. He hasn't put 2 weeks together since becoming a major leaguer. Matt Chapman is still a good defensive third baseman, but isn't lugging his weight offensively, and that is the sum of the Giants once again. I feel like we've been watching the same baseball season for the better part of 3-4 years in a row here. Decent enough pitching to make you say, why isn't this better? And then you watch their lineup and you say, oh, I understand why it's not better. They can't hit their way out of the infield. And it's still a problem for the San Francisco Giants. They were a team that was an 81-win team last year, and they had a pretty decent floor, but they did nothing to really raise the ceiling, and they're just off to a slow start. It doesn't look great, but it is also April.
Do A's fans, or the old A's fans in Oakland, still follow the A's now that they're on their way out? I mean, is there still an interest in what they're doing, or is it now out of sight, out of mind?
I mean, it's basically an out-of-sight, out-of-mind problem, but it was also while they were in plain sight, they were sort of out of mind as well for the A's. They've always been the second-class citizen, but there was some real loyalty and love in Oakland that obviously has fallen apart with everything that's happened. But they're the better baseball team. I'll tell you that. They're kind of more interesting to watch. And we still get them on our cable, our satellite systems out here. So they're still around, but there's no doubt the relationship has changed dramatically. And that's what happens when the worst owner in the world interferes and makes one of the dumbest decisions in Major League history.
Yeah, I love it. Finally, and this one's for me, Macklin Celebrini. number 1 overall pick in the NHL draft a couple of years ago. 45 goals, 70 assists. I think it's the first time in I don't know how long since a guy his age, and there's all these different numbers he's doing. They just missed the playoffs. Will they do what it takes in the offseason to put the talent around them, and are they a team that's ready to be a true Stanley Cup contender for years to come with what they've built foundationally?
Hey, when you got Wayne Gretzky, you build around him. I mean, and that's what this guy has done. He is a teenager who is playing like Wayne Gretzky did as a teenager, like the all-time greats. He has gotten off to one of the most exciting starts in the history of hockey. And, because it's hockey, it's still sort of under the radar. But people in the know here are starting to realize that we're about to go from a true all-timer in Steph Curry, and the baton is about to be passed, I believe, to Macklin Celebrini here. He is incredibly special. He is incredibly skilled and gifted, and he's mature. And if I am the San Jose Sharks, I am sliding a blank check across the table saying we can sign you for a max of 8 years. You put whatever number on there you need to, and we will do everything we can to put an excellent hockey team around you. Any other decision-making would be ridiculous. This guy is the real deal, and, it's easy to say it's just a rookie year. Call me in a couple seasons, but this is as good of a start out of the gate you could want your horse to be running during the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, 19 years old, 45 goals, 70 assists, 115 points. That's 40 points more. He is what Connor Bedard was supposed to be. The Blackhawks down last in their division, so night and day between the 2 number 1 overall picks.
Let me ask you, Soren, what were you doing when you were 19?
What time of the day would probably be my retort to you, but not much.
Since it is 4:20, I'll have to say, what were you doing about 4:20 at 19 years old?
Not that. That's about the only thing you could probably rule out for me. Probably BSing with friends, over some stupid sports thing in college. Who knows? I may have been in a bar. It depends on what day of the week it was. That was a distinct possibility for sure. But yeah, the kid's amazing. He's amazing. Damon, you're amazing as well, buddy. We're always smarter for having talked to you. We appreciate it. Have yourself a great week, my friend.
Always a pleasure, buddy. You take care.
Dan Schwartzman, D Sports Media in New York. New York is next. Dan, how are you, sir?
I'm great, Soren. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing well. What do the Giants fans think of moving Dexter Lawrence for the number 10 pick?
I'm pretty seemingly okay with the move. He was making a lot of noise. It's a new regime. They tried to kind of find a common ground. They were unable to do so, and I think Harbaugh just said, all right, you don't want to be here? Goodbye. We'll get the number 10 pick in a very deep defensive draft, and, they didn't want to pay him what he got from the Bengals, and good for Dexter Lawrence, except he's got to now move to Cincinnati from New York, kind of a step down if you ask me geographically. And also probably in terms of quality of the team. I think the Giants are a team that's more committed to building hopefully a winner than Cincinnati has shown to be over the years, except for that Super Bowl season. But look, he played incredibly well 2 years ago, didn't really show up last year, and I think Giant fans know he dogged it last year, and they weren't happy about that. So 10th overall pick for a guy like that, that's fine.
Yeah, so what do they want now for the draft picks? What's the plan? What's the dream scenario for Giants fans?
Look, the team needs talent, and offensively there's just not much of it, right? Outside of Malik Neighbors, Jackson Dart, they can really use upgrades at a lot of places. And some believe if Love's available when they draft at, number 5, although he may not be, they would probably take him. I think the Giants could add another receiver. Wan'Dale Robinson is gone, had a nice season for them last year. Look, I think the Giants go in a lot of different directions. It's the proverbial best player available, right? And chances are for the Giants, they could use a player at whatever position is available as that best player available at number 10. So I don't think they're kind of honing in on one specific area. I think they're just honing in on who's going to be the best player on our board over on the clock.
All right, how about the Jets? Arvell Reese is starting to become more popular as a name. Early on, it was Damon Bailey. Is it definitely an edge rusher? Could they be looking to maybe move around, do something different?
Oh, I would disagree with you. First of all, yes, it's going to be an edge rusher. I think Arvell Reese was the name first mentioned more often, and now it's more David Bailey. And I think the reason is, look, if you're a team that has proven that you can develop talent, maybe Arvell Reese makes more sense, and you take that talent at number 2. But the Jets can't afford to bomb these picks, right? If they can hit on these next two drafts, the Jets go from being a crappy team that hasn't made the playoffs in 15 years to legitimately a really talented, good team. So do you take the project who's not really an edge rusher until kind of playing that role to a point this year, or do you take the guy who's got the built-in moves, who's got the motor, who had the 14.5 sacks at Texas Tech, who's the more sure thing as an edge rusher? Now, sure, upside-wise, Arvell Reese could be Micah Parsons, but he could also be a real bust because he's not really a pass rusher. You got to go Bailey in the sense of you know what you're going to get with him, rather than I kind of hope I get this because of what the numbers show me, what he shows me physically. So I think for the Jets, Bailey's got to be the guy because you know what you're getting more so than I think I know what I'm getting.
At 16, is it receiver? Everybody's got the Jets going receiver, it seems like, with that second pick. Do you agree with that?
I do, unless Sadiq is there at number 16. I know it sounds crazy to think they would take a tight end, but he's not a normal tight end. And last year they took Taylor at a second round. We like him here in New York. It doesn't hurt to have two talented players at tight end in the NFL today. If Kenyon Sadiq is there, I think there's a chance they take him. Now, I don't believe he's going to be there at 16. If he's not on the board, Omar Cooper's a name that continues to kind of be, married to the Jets at 16. He's a very tough kind of receiver. The Jets need that. You got to take some pressure off Garrett Wilson. You need a real number two, and they don't have that right now. You got to give Geno, Smith some help, and whoever's going to be the quarterback they bring in terms of a young one, either this draft or next draft. But expect an edge rusher 2, a receiver at 16. And don't forget, they have pick number 33. Expect potentially a cornerback at that pick.
When you spend $400 million on a roster, you expect an 11-game losing streak, don't you? I mean, this is what the Mets thought this year would be. 7-15, 11 straight losses. I mean, they knew this was coming, right?
Of course, and why not go for 12, right, at this point? No, I agree with you. I mean, it's been an absolute joke how bad they've been. Come on, 11-game losing streak with this kind of payroll. Money's not the issue. Is it a talent issue? I don't know. They have some pretty good names. They have guys that should be playing better. I was just listening to your previous guest talk about, Rafael Devers not hitting the back of his baseball card, and that's what's happening. Outside of a couple of spots, like Nolan McLean's been phenomenal as a young pitcher, right? I mean, the guy is one of the top, pitch prospects in baseball. But the guys aren't hitting. What's Lindor doing, right? Not much. None of these guys are doing what they're supposed to do. So the Mets, it's been an embarrassment. If you're Mendoza, the manager, how much of a leash is Steve Cohen going to have there when he's spending $400 million? He's not going to be Steinbrenner and hire and fire 3 managers of the year. But Carlos Mendoza isn't exactly a big name with a huge resume to survive a really bad start for a team that had high expectations this year. A lot of people thought they would win the NL East this year, and right now they are sputtering, looking terrible.
You spend $400 million, and as I'm looking at the depth chart on ESPN, MJ Melendez is listed as your DH.
Oh,
yeah, exactly. People in Kansas City know, and not for the good reasons that you would know it. That's for sure. Meanwhile, though, the Yankees, they got it all figured out, right? They dropped 5 in a row. They still had a huge plus run differential. They split with the Angels. Now they sweep the Royals. We're back to thinking the Yankees can do no wrong.
Kind of. Here's the problem. The bullpen was a real problem last year, and they've been a real problem this year. They're not good. David Bednar is not a real closer. He's only a closer because he's a guy to give the ball to in the 9th inning. The Yankees need to improve that bullpen, and they need to do it fast. They can hit for the most part. Yeah, they had a cold streak, but, man, Judge is hitting home runs. Ben Rice is legit. I mean, that kid can play. I mean, he's a banger, all right? The starting rotation has been, let me tell you, I will use the word phenomenal. And the reason also I use that is because they're doing incredible. And Garrett Cole and Carlos Rodon have yet to pitch yet this season in the rotation. They're both working their way up through rehab. Rodon should be back shortly. Cole should be back within the next month or so. They're doing this without their top 2 pitchers, really. Well, maybe top 2 of 3 because Max Fried's very good. But when you have Schlittler, Will Warren, young guys like that really just pitching brilliantly, this is what happens. The Yankees have a plethora of talent and the rotation, and Soren, they're going to have to make a decision who goes to the bullpen when you talk about Luis Gil being a Rookie of the Year, who's also potentially going to be going to the bullpen because they have to get Rodon and Cole in there. So a plethora of talent when you talk about the rotation, not any talent when you talk about the bullpen. And while the bats can get cold, they could certainly hit a ton as well.
Yeah, boy, it's nice that the Yankees finally have some talent. It's good for you guys. Yeah, it's tough. Dan, great stuff as always, buddy. We appreciate it. Have yourself a great week, my friend.
You as well, Soren. Take care, buddy.
This is where we find the great Eitan Shander, Fox 29 and OddShopper.com, right there in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Eitan, how are you, buddy?
Now, I didn't hear the full interview, but no way Dan Schwartzman got it great before his introduction.
No, I don't think he did either.
What's up, brother?
I don't think he did. You are, my friend. Let's talk about A.J. Brown. Are we going to finally, get off the pot? Is somebody going to crap or what? Is he going to the Pats or not?
Here's the best part about it, man. You know me well enough to call me out. I've been basically telling you that he's not getting traded. He's not getting traded. I'm dying on this hill. All right, look, clearly there is a lot of smoke right now, and we are in the negotiation phase. Knowing Howie Roseman's work, knowing how he works, I think they are in the negotiation phase. What I will say, though, is Howie Roseman does not just give people away, does not just trade away for a bag of potatoes or a sack of footballs. So the reality is that even if there is a deal brewing right now, and even if the most logical situation, Soren, is that A.J. Brown gets dealt to the Patriots, I'm not convinced that we're anywhere near, despite the June 1st deadline, anywhere near a point in which Howie Roseman is comfortable getting what he wants back. He's not just going to dump him for a third or fourth round pick. And he'll leverage. He'll use the Patriots. I guarantee you this. I've been wrong about the smoke building, but I guarantee you this. In the next 6 to maybe 10 days, you will see from Schechter or somebody else, it ain't going to be Diana Rossini, but it's going to be somebody else, that's going to tell you there is another team that's in the mix. Somebody else is knocking on the door for Howie Roseman to trade A.J. Brown because of leverage.
All right. We'll see if it happens. We'll see if it comes to fruition finally.
I just can't believe they're going to trade this guy. Honestly, I know, look, wide receivers don't even move the line or the spread for me when it comes to the NFL, but I just don't envision a scenario in which the Eagles' offense is better without A.J. Brown.
Yeah, no, I hear you. What do they do at 23?
Look, honestly, I'm going to say that if you had to give me one thing they do at 23, I think Howie Roseman is full-on, all-go draft picks for the next 2 years. He realizes Jalen Hurts is locked in, this offense, the defense now, new coordinators on offense, This team has a shot to win another bowl, I think, in the next 2 years. That's their window. My gut would say that Howie Roseman is going to do everything he possibly can to trade out, not even back, but out of the first round, stockpile picks, maybe not even in this draft, Soren. Maybe get another top 100 pick here, but I think he's realistically looking at stockpiling in the next 2 years. So my gut would say that he trades back out of the first round. If I had to choose a position player, I still think offensive line. I still think he has a soft spot there. Wide receiver could be in play depending on who's on the board in A.J. Brown.
All right, how about the Sixers? They got any shot against the Celtics? They were just had a bomb dropped on them. Do they have any shot in this series?
Well, to anybody who thinks they do, what exactly is going to change outside of the Boston Celtics just laying down? I mean, remember, they started 4 or 5 G League players against the Orlando Magic and just told them to win a basketball game, and the Magic couldn't do that. The Sixers right now are not better, or at least as bad, I would say, as what they saw from the Magic in that playing game. The reality is the Sixers have nothing to stop Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. They have nothing to stop the depth. Andre Drummond is not Joel Embiid, who that guy's not going to be around, so scratch him off there. And then all you have to do right now is just talk to Tyrese Maxey after every loss, Soren, and say, don't worry, it'll get better. Don't leave, it'll get better. Don't leave, it'll get better. That's the only option we have here as Sixers fans.
Don't leave.
We can't lose him. Protect this man at all costs.
It will get better. I love it. Flyers lead the Penguins 1-0. How fun is this series to have the Battle of Pennsylvania in the playoffs?
Oh, dude, you buried the lead. We're Philadelphia Flyers all up here, man. We are a hockey town. Did you not know that? Did you not get the memo? Philadelphia is a hockey city right now. No team, I think, has more hope, realistic tangible hope outside of the Philadelphia Eagles than the Flyers. Here's the reason why. Dan Vladar. The one thing that the Philadelphia Flyers have missed, and that's a big reason why they've had a gap in the postseason, is goaltending, consistent goaltending. Guys come in, they go out. I mean, Carter Hart, right? You know what happened there. He's long gone. The reality, Soren, is that they haven't had any real consistency. He's one of the top 3 goalies, maybe best goalies since the start of March. He is playing on his head. I love that phrase from the NHL, right? The hockey phrase there. And I think the Flyers are young enough and talented enough to where they don't know any better. Everybody expected Sidney, Evgeny, and all the other old names on that Penguins team to just waltz in this series and win. I think the Flyers win this thing, and I wouldn't be surprised if they won in 5.
Yeah, no, they're impressive. I mean, I think the Penguins are on their last leg, but the Flyers look pretty impressive. Speaking of impressive, not impressive are the Phillies. 8-13, nothing to see here. Veteran team, they'll get it going, or veteran team that's getting old and on the way downhill.
No, there's nothing here. There's just Zach Wheeler is walking through that door, but what's he doing? Pitching every 5 days? Okay, great. You still need better fielding. You still need smarter base running. You still need to generate runs. You still need to find a way so that if your leadoff hitter strikes out, grounds out, flies out, what have you, you're not relying on Kyle Schwarber now to basically manufacture something only for Bryce Harper. They dropped Alec Boehm already, right, in the lineup. It's a disaster. They are not consistent. They're one of the worst teams when it comes to run differential. Their pitching is horrific. And you know what? They're not generating enough offense to overcome that. The only solace, the only thing we can talk about here is it's going to get warmer, right? Charlie Manuel famously said, it ain't hitting season yet. And that's talking about March into April. Once we start to get a little consistency with the weather, the balls may start to fly a little bit. But guess what? Another team comes to town. They have some big bats. The ball's going to fly out of Citizens Bank Park as well. They have to do something. And honestly, the only thing they really can do is fire Rob Thompson at this point.
Yeah. All right. We'll see if they get it going. Always great talking to you. Eitan Shander in Philadelphia. You're the man. Have a great week, my friend.
You got it, Soren. Thank you, brother.
All right, the La Feta Delicatessen, end of the hour answer. Among retired NFL quarterbacks,
yes, sir,
who lost the most games in his final season, not his final season as a starter, just his final season. 3 guys lost 10. This guy lost 12.
Let's take a shot in the dark. Steve Spurrier?
Good guess.
I did not get that.
Amazing.
I did not get that. We played that guessing game during the break, and I was nowhere to be found on landing that one.
Matt Derrick even kind of hung around to help us. You got, I said there were 3 that were
I had 10
or
plus.
more, and then I gave you the years, 2016, 49ers. You got Colin Kaepernick.
Yep.
96 Falcons.
You gave us the years, and then you had to give us the teams.
Yeah, the teams. 96 Falcons. I said he also applied his trade for New Orleans.
And
Matt got
Bobby
Hebert.
Aber, or Hebert.
Yeah, Bobby Aber. 76 Bucks.
And that's what I got.
Yeah.
Then I got Steve Spurrier.
Their one season in the AFC West. They were 0-for, so he was 0-12. Heisman Trophy winner, 3rd overall pick in the NFL draft. Closed it out with a tight 0-12. Ew. Well, Warren Moon began 0-11 his rookie year with the Oilers in the Oilers in 84.
Well,
Orioles.
You know,
that would have been a story.
The ultimate, the 0-9. Isn't that his record? Brody Croyle?
Oh, yeah. I think he's 0-10. I think he was 0-10, yeah.
0 wins.
Yep.
That's a tough one.
That's not easy.
But if anybody can take it and make it fun,
it's
that guy.
He was so good. By the way, Spurrier, 81 today. Yeah, Brody Croyle.
What's going on?
What's going on? And he played in 5 different seasons. He had at least one start in 4 different seasons.
Croyle?
0-10.
Yeah.
8 touchdowns, 9 picks. I mean, he wasn't terrible.
He
just couldn't stay on the field. I mean, he would had he been good, he still would be out of the game because he just couldn't. 6'2", 206, and I don't buy 206.
No.
206? Maybe quarterbacks weren't 206 in 1979.
Yeah.
Much less 2009.
By
the way, 2 quarterbacks had 9 in their final season. Tom Brady, it wasn't a 17-game season, but Tom Brady in 22.
Were they 8 and 9?
Yeah. And then Joe Kapp in 1970, the year after the Chiefs beat him in the Super Bowl. He came back one more year, played for the Boston Patriots, and lost 9 games.
So usually the point of this is that usually at the end you're not starting. You're holding a clipboard or you get knocked out of the season or something. It's hard to get a bunch of starts at the end when you're
on your last year.
When you're on your last leg.
True
like
story.
Warren Moon was holding a clipboard in Kansas City for like 3 or 4 years and went like 0-1 in his final year.
Wasn't much.
Yeah. So I get it. I see where you're going. How about the Giants and Jets hold 4 of the first-round picks? I mean, how giddy is ESPN and NFL Network? And do you think we will see any other team talked about other than the Jets and Giants?
In between picks, no, and probably during picks. Wouldn't they love to have the draft back in New York? Been watching a lot of accounts have the old drafts. Kind of go back and see and just forget that it was always at the Marriott Marquis, and I'm sure they'd love to have that. Jets fans always going, "Oh, what? No!"
And poor Arizona and the Titans are at 3 and 4, sandwiched in between the both New York teams.
There will be no conversation about the Cardinals and Titans.
The Cardinals pick so and so. Back to the Jets.
Let's talk about Arvell Reese to the Jets. Now, what do you got going to 5 to the Giants, Mel?
Yeah.
Well, the Titans are on the clock. I know. What do you got 5 to the Giants, Mel?
Well, the Giants go right after the Chiefs, so that won't.
That's a 10. That's their second pick.
Boom.
The Giants are 5 and 10.
Yeah. So, but after that, after the Chiefs pick, they'll also do that. So it better be something wild, or they won't be
Big
talking
pick
about
here
it
for
very long.
Andy Reid. Let's talk about the Giants, Mel. What do you got them doing with their second pick?
and the Jets again at 16.
Yeah.
4 of the first. That's one out of every 4 picks.
There will be they will take a break from talking Jets and Giants when they go from after the Giants pick, immediately stepping on the Dolphins and spending all their time talking about the Cowboys at 12.
And then again at Cowboys at 20.
God, it is their dream. Look at that. That's right. They have 2 also.
In the first 20 picks, there are 6 by the Jets, Giants, and Cowboys.
We always like to throw it back and forth to ESPN, and then we take it, and when it's Chief stuff here, and we're like, oh, excited! Like, hey, we got 2 first-round picks. We got a lot to talk about here, and we'll be doing a lot. We're gonna be doing a lot because we're gonna get tired of like, all right, they're still on the Jets. Come on,
this will be
just
like
bring it to us.
This will be like ESPN.
We'll take it.
This will be like ESPN on day 3. It'll just be a crawl as they talk about the Jets and Giants.
ESPNYC.
Yes, they said they have a nice New York version. Oh, like the other version, isn't?
The Chiefs have 2. The Dolphins have 2. Are there 5 teams that have 2, or is there more than that?
I think it might be it.
Jets, Giants, Cowboys, Chiefs, and Dolphins.
Yeah.
All right.
Should be fun.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
I'm looking forward to it. I love the fact that the Chiefs have pick early and late.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of the more entertaining ones we've had for the Chiefs.
It'll go by quickly.
That
is unless they move, which we kind of don't think they will.
Well, I don't know.
Or do
I mean, I think, they're talking trade right now, according to
Cardinals and Titans.
Cardinals and Titans. By the way, that is not happening.
According to somebody, Jeremy Fowler, who I'm sure, Jeremy Fowler was probably the most surprised person in the world to realize it had happened.
That's why in the tweet that I sent out saying this is not happening, I made sure to put Jeremy Fowler on there. Like, I don't believe Jeremy Fowler is aware that his name is being thrown around.
Yeah.
Is reporting.
I don't think I said that. That's why
it was amazing to see how many people, then react to that. So, well, here's the trade chart. Here's what we're gonna.
That's why I always try to find a second. If someone's saying it, I need to see somebody else. If it's not someone that I know well, but always look for the second person to say. If you can't find a second person quoting it, if every story you see goes back to the same person, be skeptical.
Be very skeptical.
Be very skeptical.
Yes, exactly.
And don't try not to put it out there.
Yeah. Long drill. We talked a lot of draft during that. We'll take a break here. Get back on track. Still to come, David Lesky talking some Royals baseball in the 5 o'clock hour as well. Well, an era has ended in Royals baseball.
It is. One that many didn't think probably was still alive.
Did you know?
Active.
No, alive. I think they thought he was alive.
I mean, yeah, the era would not have been alive,
okay.
though.
I see what you're saying. Did you know that Asa Lacy was still a member of the Royals until a couple hours ago?
I did, yeah.
You did? Okay.
But no, I don't blame anybody that didn't.
If someone had
he
said,
wasn't playing.
Yeah, if someone had said, is he? I would have gone, I don't know. I'm not sure. Now you can tell all your friends he's not.
Remember that guy we thought was done? He's done. Now he's done. Now.
Someone should try to, in your fantasy league, try to trade him on minor leagues. Hey, man, take a flyer on Asa Lacy? Sure.
My league is too sharp for that.
Yes, you guys know what's going on. Just
as a reminder, Asa Lacy was the Royals' first-round pick in 2020. That was the abbreviated draft, right? They also took Nick Lofton at 32. I'm looking at that first round. Asa Lacy received $6.7 million. Trying to see if there was a man, it ain't exactly the who's who.
No.
That draft really sucked. Pete Crow Armstrong down here at 19.
That would have been okay.
It was probably about here we go. Garrett Crochet at 11.
Yeah.
That would have been better.
It would have been better.
Yeah. Could have used him.
Yeah.
Didn't work out. The Asa Lacy era ends today.
All right, who's the only hitter to spoil a perfect game with a 2-out, ninth-inning home run? Brought to you by La Feta Delicatessen.
Fourth quarter of the program begins right now as we finish strong here on a Monday. Beautiful Monday. Still to come, David Lesky.
Still.
Talking some Royals baseball. We will...
all the things you've heard today, still to come.
David Lesky, and we will recount the Asa Lacy era day by day.
Yes, it won't take long. What was your favorite Asa Lacy outing?
I don't know about outing, but I guess it was the
inning.
When they drafted, I'm like, oh, big power lefty. Yeah. Well, this should be interesting.
What was your favorite Asa Lacy inning?
What was your favorite? Was it I Saw the Sign?
Yeah. He was no ace of base. See, ace of baseball.
He was no ace of baseball.
No, they said don't turn around because the ball's going out of the park.
Yes. He was just hurt always, wasn't he? Wasn't that the deal?
Never really know what he could have been, but we know what he was, which is much more important.
I remember reading like one of the things like, I'm going to have to smooth some things out in the delivery. I'm like, at number 5? It's like, it's kind of like as soon as they draft Bubba Starling, it's like, well, they're reworking his swing. Like, what?
At 5?
I mean, I'm just going to tell you, when the delivery and the swing are off, at 16, around 16, okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he throws 100, but, the delivery's screwed. Not at 5.
Yeah. No. Colt Griffin?
It's my new rule of thumb. If you're going to draft a guy in the top 10, the first thing you do cannot be change everything he does.
We have to rework everything.
Draft a guy who does things that way.
Yeah.
So what the Royals did was draft a soft-tossing lefty in Frank Mazzucato.
Yeah. Who still isn't here.
Who they are convinced will as he fills out.
Yeah.
The velocity. Yeah, so they went.
By the time he's 30.
They literally.
He'll be a good middle
We
reliever.
talk about the pendulum. Way too far one way, way too far the other. Frank Mazzucato, though, clean delivery, smooth. It's just 83.
Look how efficient his windup is as he throws the ball straight arrow, 85-mile-an-hour fastball. That's something.
Boy, that is something, huh? So the Asa Lacy era is over
officially
in Royals baseball. So
all the stuff Lacy stuff I had, like 5 jerseys.
Did you?
No, I was certain.
No way they made a big boy jersey that early.
It's like I didn't know what number it would be, so I just because he never wore it in the bigs. So what number would you get?
He's actually got 2 question marks
on
the back. That's good. That's good. All right. Good to know. All right, let's talk a little. By the way, the Royals back in action tonight. Royals O's 6:40 on Royals TV. Seth Lugo, he of the sparkling 1.48 ERA, 1-1 goes against Kyle Bradish, 1-2 with a 5.49. Bradish.
I mean,
Baltimore's favorite in this game.
Yeah, I look at the pitching matchup and I go, what? That just tells you
7 in a row. 7 in a row.
Like, I'm not getting in front of that train.
Yeah, 7 in a row.
O's could be starting Asa Lacy, and they might be favored.
Ooh, I see what you did there.
I smell a 2-1 loss.
Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Only they're at home, so that it'll be the top of the 9th that they score.
All right, let's hear a little Andy Reid. The head coach was available today. Start out with an update. Pete Sweeney asking Andy Reid about what the Pat Mahomes timeline looks like now.
Yeah, so he goes to the meetings. He can lift, do all of that, rehab. That's the phase he's in right now. So we'll just see, kind of play it by ear, see where he's at, Pete. He's doing great, but we've just got to, you got to be smart with this thing.
Okay. Pivot.
He can lift.
Yep.
Is what I heard there.
Can lift.
He can lift. He can go to meetings. Yeah, I'm sure he's thrilled about that.
Oh, yeah. It's wonderful.
I don't know about you, but for me, man, put a couple of meetings on my calendar, and I am fired up.
No way, dog. I hate meetings, dog.
How about the wideouts? We've talked a lot about Jordan Tyson here of late. I asked Andy Reid if there are wideouts that he likes in this draft, and what are kind of the traits he's looking at?
I'll tell you, there's a number of receivers that are good players. I think the key when you're there, you hear this every year, Soren. I mean, you know this, but you always hear take the best player available when you get to that point. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's an offensive lineman, a defensive lineman, a wide receiver. It doesn't matter. And people can try to predict who you're going to take, but you're going to get to that point. Brett's going to go, listen, all these hours we put in, let's get the best guy and let's roll with it. And will there be a wide receiver? I don't know that. I don't know if what's going to be there, but whatever it is, I know he's real disciplined with taking a good one.
I mean, that's as close to George Carlin. Am I up? Are you up? I don't know what's up.
Is he up? I don't know. Could be anybody. They might grab a pitcher. They might draft Asa Lacy at 9. That'd be fun.
I mean, he was going nowhere.
Yes.
So that makes me think Jordan Tyson at 9. This is what I conclude. We could go anywhere. Starts telling me about the best player available.
He immediately went right away from wide receiver.
So a wideout.
So wideout. I didn't say that.
Doggone it, you shock jock.
All right, Stacey Dales from NFL Network asked Reed what traits he looks for in an offensive tackle.
Yeah, so Brett and his guys, they put together stacks of guys. So they'll get players that like players. And Brett does a great job of having the coaches kind of look through those stacks and going, yeah, we kind of like this guy better than this guy. Even though they're that close, they help separate them to the liking of the offense, defense, or special teams. So, and then, I mean, he lets me get involved with that too. He'll give me some guys to do and just as another resource, another voice in there. Inevitably, though, they've already got the work done. And Brett has a great eye for that, and so we're not off by very much ever. I normally agree with how he's seeing it. I mean, I've got a lot of trust in him on that.
By the way, I used the wrong throw on that. That was him about what kind of impact he makes on the draft prep.
Also a question asked by Stacey Dales.
Yes. Stacey Dales did, though, ask Andy Reid the traits he looks for in an offensive tackle.
Well, he did say offensive tackle, didn't he? Is that who we're taking as an offensive tackle? Doggone, Stacey, you got some inside information. I would tell you, I always look at the feet. I go and say, listen, give me somebody that can get out of their own way and get themselves in position where they can put themselves in the best position possible to block a guy, whether it's in the run game or the pass game. And then I work my way up from there with the core strength, the arm, all those things. And it's, that's the offensive line is kind of my baby, along with the defensive line. I like both the big guys. I think you can make, you win games by making sure that group is strong.
Feet.
Or you lose games when they're not. Feet.
Made the little joke. He did say we're taking a tackle.
No, I think they're going tackle.
No.
Well,
he at least gave a trait. I look at the feet, so
Yeah.
I don't think they're going tackle. I think I nailed it. I think they're going wide out.
I got to make sure they have two. He's got that.
Don't want him being both left feet.
Yeah. Oh, look at that
By
guy.
the way, has he been coaching his grandkids basketball or something?
Yeah.
He's in mid-season hoarse voice form.
Clearing
right
his throat a lot. So I don't know. Or maybe he just woke up. That's how I am. Or first thing in the morning, maybe just crawled out a bit. 11 a.m.
Oh, all right, let's do this thing.
The Cowboys have made Brandon Aubrey the highest paid kicker in the NFL, so he'll take that mantle from
Harrison Butker.
That's right. Signing the veteran to a 4-year extension worth $28 million, $20 million guaranteed. I think Butker was at 6.5, and this goes to 7.
Goes to 7. He is ridiculous. I mean,
he's really good.
Even in an era where almost every team seems to have a really good kicker, he's just freak show.
Jimmy Garoppolo is said to be considering retirement. He's 34 years old and a free agent. Is he considering retirement or is he unsigned?
I feel like he's been retired for a couple of years now.
Yeah. I do too. He's back up to Matt Stafford last year. Giants and free agent wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. They had him in for a workout and a physical.
Yeah. Saw if he could make that catch again. He missed.
No signing appears imminent. You think?
Because he went in there and beat up the kicking net again.
That's right.
I can't believe we haven't taken a call on that yet. Oh, the Giants are talking to him.
Yeah.
Odell Beckham Jr.
Why not? It's what I saw. Jeremy Fowler said that they're talking about him.
Yeah, that's right. It's just Jeremy
That's
Fowler.
going to be like the in joke now. Where'd you hear that, Jeremy
Fowler?
Yeah, that's going to be the thing now.
I like that.
And any bad intel is automatically going to be coming from Jeremy Fowler. By the way, I'm sure he's pleased about that.
We don't have the hockey playoffs on here. We couldn't.
I should have.
Don't believe in putting hockey.
I just forgot.
NBA playoffs tonight. Raptors at Cavs. That's at 6 on Peacock. Do you have the Peacock?
I do.
I've got it.
I haven't made up my cool color coded sheet for the NHL yet, but it's coming.
Okay.
So I like the hockey playoffs.
Yeah, Raptors at Cavs. Cavs 9.5-point favorites in that one. Hawks at Knicks. Knicks are 6.5-point favorites. That's at 7:00 on NBC. You can see Quinn Snyder, all 112 pounds of him, on the sideline. 6'3", 112.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And
a
maybe,
sandwich.
And maybe we'll see a close game for the first time in these playoffs.
9 points, the closest game we've had in the NBA playoffs so far.
It was the largest. I saw it was the largest average margin of victory in game one of any playoff series in NBA history.
And a whole, all of them together.
Yep.
Wolves at Nuggets. The Nuggets are 7-point favorites.
It doesn't look like there's many. They're going to pick many close ones tonight either. 9.5, 6.5's the closest one.
Yeah, it does not look like it's going to go that route.
The betting line, I mean, 9.5. Is that you'd know more about this? 1.7, one's 9.5. That's a jump up, but 290 to 460 on the favorite. Is that?
You mean that kind of split?
Yeah. That kind of is a difference of 2.5 points in a line normally that big a gap on the money line, or are they?
Which one's
Raptors Cavs is 9.5. And it's Cleveland minus 460.
But in Toronto's plus 360.
Yeah. I'm saying as far as the favorite. It is comparing that game to the Wolves and Nuggets, which is the second biggest margin. It seems like if
you're saying 460s
to 290 for Denver.
Oh, they definitely think Cleveland's winning.
Yeah, but is there a bigger gap there than the point spread?
Probably.
Is that?
I mean, probably for only 2.5 more points for it to go up that far. Probably a little bit. On the ice, the hockey playoffs, Flyers and Penguins. Flyers lead that series 1-0. What is it, 1-0? What do they say in hockey for 0?
I think it's just 1-0.
1-0. Pittsburgh minus 155 in that one. Senators and Hurricanes. By the way, that first game's on ESPN, ESPN2 at 6:30. Senators and Hurricanes. Right now, Carolina leads the series 1-0. 8:30 on ESPN. Wild and Stars. It is Minnesota with a 1-0 lead on that. And then Ducks, and we hope not those orange jerseys again. Ducks and Oilers. No, that's game one of that series. First game of that series. So Ducks and Oilers at 9.
Flyers Pens look pretty good. I like the older established hockey teams, but it's kind of cool to watch those classic uniforms on the same ice.
We'll see if the Senators and Hurricanes drop the gloves as they drop the puck. That's what happened in game one. We'll take a break. We'll see if David Lesky is going to fix all the problems for the Royals next here in the program.
The program with Soren Petro.
I'm not that bright. I get it done at work, but it's kind of a simple gig.
Weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, if you're looking for the very latest in smart home technology, if you're looking for in-home theaters, how about rocket-fast Wi-Fi all over your home? How about integrating everything in your office so it all works together? That's Applause Custom Sight and Sound, Kansas City's best. For more than 20 years, you can give a call today at 913-498-1183. That's 913-498-1183. Find them on the web at applausetheater.com. Listen, Applause Custom Sight and Sound's been in my home for basically about 20 years. More than 20 years. 2004 was the first time Applause did work at my house. They did it at my old house, and it was the first thing we did when we moved. We wanted to have that true smart home technology, the ability to control your lighting, your music. That's one of the great things. Whenever we entertain, press a couple of taps on the phone, and we've got music playing in whatever room we want. I can add or subtract rooms, and it's all synced up. That's true smart home technology. Security and surveillance, yep, that's part of it as well. That's what we just added on. See, when you go with Applause Custom Sight and Sound, they build it right the first time. That means when you have some things that you do want to add on or technology evolves, it's simple, it's easy, it's cost-effective. Took about a day and a half. They drilled no holes anywhere, and now we have cameras that shows everything going on at the house, everything all the way around. We always know what's happening at our house because of our friends at Applause Custom Sight and Sound. Trust me, if you want the best, call the best. Call Applause today. 913-498-1183. Find them on the web at applausetheater.com. That's applausetheater.com.
James Taylor here with La Bodega Restaurant on the Boulevard. Well, here comes the sun, and La Bodega's world-famous patio dining is open. Grab a friend or two and celebrate with our 20 choices of hot or cold tapas to share for lunch, brunch, or dinner. And how about a nice sangria to go with that? Dine in, take out, delivery, or cater, you just can't go wrong. Just go to LaBodegaKC.com. Come on, get out and get some sun.
Yes, let's talk some Royals baseball. David Lesky from Inside the Crown joins us. David, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
The Royals, I'm good. The Royals make a move to the DL, or they call it the IL now. I forgot.
IL. Yeah.
To the IL, Jonathan India with a left shoulder subluxation.
It's the same one as last year, right? I don't know. It doesn't matter. I guess I could look.
Up is Nick Lofton.
Cool. Everything's fixed.
That's good. It's all fixed now. It's all fixed now.
A partial or incomplete dislocation of a joint where bones remain in partial contact, commonly causing pain, instability, and limited mobility.
I'm trying to find what it was. Because remember, he dove. Was that against. That was in that game against the A's, the Alex Gordon game. I just remember that part. I can't find it now. Maybe he didn't go on the IL. Maybe that's why I can't find it. But they said, he's dealt with this injury for years. And here it is again.
Kind of like Salvador Perez's hip.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let's start there. We touched on this quite a bit last night on our Kaufman Corner podcast. But how much should Salvador Perez be playing?
Less.
Like you had what was the stat you had on how much better he was after just not catching the day before?
Yeah, I don't. Let me see if I can find it real quick. But it was like 100 points higher in average.
Yeah.
Like 150 points higher in slug. I mean, it was absurd.
It was pronounced.
It was, yes, very pronounced. Yeah. And he's got a lot, which going into Saturday, I believe he had caught 13 of 20 games, would have been 12 of 20 if Carter Jensen's alarm clock worked. And now it'll be 3 in a row he's not catching because he's DH tonight. So, so far it hasn't helped him hit I guess it was just yesterday. Was the day after DH or not playing on Saturday. So, but he was busy. He was busy texting people back, letting them know he was okay. So he couldn't play. Couldn't play very well.
I mean, what do you think? What would you like to see? Would you like to see him just not play when he's not catching?
I don't mind him DHing and playing first periodically if he's hitting, but if he's not hitting, there's no reason to. And I mean, you could probably make an argument that, hey, he needs to play to hit, so keep him in there a little bit. But every day seems unnecessary when he's hitting like this. To me, I think the other side of it, though, the flip side is, if he's not playing, who is playing? Is there somebody with more of a chance to hit than Salvador Perez? And right now, the answer is maybe not. I mean, you look at the bench. It's Nick Lofton. It's Lane Thomas if a righty's on the mound. Lane Thomas is on the bench. Elias Diaz, who did have 2 hits yesterday, and he had a 14.3 feet per second sprint. I don't know if that's true, but it feels like that's about what it was. About half of Bobby Witt Jr. rounding third. I'm missing somebody. I don't even know who. I'm missing the 4th bench player. Charlie Marte. Do you trust any of them? Are any of them more likely to hit a ball over the wall than Salvador Perez? No. So I guess maybe he plays. I don't know. Personally, though, he doesn't, in my opinion, he doesn't need to play every single day if he's not hitting. If 2024, you can't sit him. He was hitting well. Even last year when the numbers weren't there, everything pointed to, hey, this is... Some of it's the fact that he's just so slow that he loses hits, and that's going to happen. Just like Bobby Witt Jr. is going to get a few more hits than other guys, Salvador Perez is going to have a few less than other guys because he's so slow. But even last year, he was hitting the ball hard. He was barreling it up. He's always going to chase. That's just who he is. We were at this point, we can't say, oh, he's got to stop. No, he's never going to stop chasing. He's 36 years old. This is it. But this year, he's not hitting well enough, or even with the underlying numbers to say he should play more. And so, to me, there's no reason to play him every single day and get him full days off. Get him those mental health days.
Is he not because he can't, or is he not just because he's streaky and this is not one of his good times?
I don't think we know that answer yet. the bat speed being down is concerning, and that worries me quite a bit. That he can't, or it's more difficult. Maybe can't is the wrong word. But at the same time, it's a fair point that Salvador Perez looks like he's done, and then he hits 5 homers in 8 games. He's done it his entire career. I don't know about the 5 homers in 8 games. That's more in the back half of his career.
Right.
But this is not new to him to go through a month where you're like, that guy can't hit. And then you look up, and you look up 2 weeks later, and he's got 14 homers and 47 RBIs in mid-May.
At some point, though, and I know you know this, that's not going to happen.
Right.
It's not like is
this
the year that it stops happening?
It will end at some point, and maybe it doesn't just end. Maybe it's okay. He has a 5 homers,
2
in 8
homers
games.
in 8 games.
Yeah, 3 or 4, whatever. Yeah, or he has a month that he would have had 9 home runs, but he had 7, and then it could be a slow. And if it's slow, he comes from a high enough point that he'll still hit 22, 23 home runs, and that's useful. He's got 3 this year, right? I mean, he's 3 homers and 6 RBIs, which is sad. But it is what it is.
Second on the team, I think, in maybe
He
both
didn't have
categories.
any.
I don't think he's second in RBIs, but he is second in home runs. And he had a big one on what was that, Thursday afternoon? Didn't matter because Lucas Erceg defecated on himself. But
it's one way to put it.
That's the radio. That's the way that you're not going to get fined.
Radio
for.
safe,
right?
But you know what's interesting about that, real quick? I looked it up. He'd entered 17. Did I already say this to you? Did we already talk about this? I can't remember. That Lucas Erceg, as a Royal, has entered 17 games as a closer in a save situation. Like, not a tie game. He is going to close this game out. That's the first time he gave up a run in those 17 situations.
Really? He was 16 for 16
16
before
for
that?
16 in 9th inning save situations. I mean, he had some blown saves because it was the 8th inning. He was setting up for Estevez and all that.
The 7th inning blown save was kind of a weird thing.
It is. But and unless I missed one, but I literally went box score by box score to look at that because I thought it was interesting and first time. But yeah, I at this point, what does it hurt to sit Salvi? It's not like he's helping. I think he should sit more.
Well, and I give, you were quoting those stats last year about how productive he was when he did get some kind of rest, at least a half-day rest. And we both said, look, the one thing about bringing him back now is he's got to be on the same page that he's going to sit some days.
Yeah.
And he hadn't sat one day.
Nope. And it wasn't even like even the day that he had to catch because they disciplined Jensen, he was in the lineup as DH.
Yeah, he was going to DH that day.
So it wasn't like he was going to get a day off. And they had said, I don't remember who said it. I think it was JJ on an interview, said that, we're looking at Wednesday for his first day off because then you can get the day and then the scheduled off day. So you get 2 days off in a row. And they did it on Saturday because of the hip, which they didn't tell anybody, which I thought was interesting. And now he's DHing for who knows how long because he's got a hip issue. And they brought up Diaz, and it's all weird, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And I think what's just as troubling is they're not playing good baseball.
Correct.
They're running into each other in the outfield. I mean, it was a bad day against the Yankees. And I'd be willing, you said this last night, but I'd be willing to be like, well, the Yankees are just in their head, except for, and they didn't play, didn't have those kind of, little league mistakes against the Tigers, but they did lose to the Tigers.
They did.
And so, the idea that, like, okay, Yankee Stadium is just a house of horrors. They'll be better now that they're home. I can't subscribe to that till I see it.
Yeah, they're going to have to prove it. It is interesting, though. They've lost 7 in a row. The first 5, they lost total. The run differential was -6. They weren't playing well enough to win.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're -6 in a 5-game stretch, you could very easily. You're a hit here, a catch here, a 6-foot over ground ball here from being 5-0 in those, and it's you are relatively. It's not doesn't help the standings, but you're at least feel like you're close, which may be more disappointing. I don't know, but then the last 2 days, I mean, I wonder a little bit when that ball got over the wall on Friday night, which seemed like everybody was shocked by. Even the Yankees announcers were like, I don't know how that ball got over the wall. The Royals were like, we can't win here, we're done, and they packed it up for the weekend, and that was that. They're going to have to show, like, to your point, can they play better? We know they can. they have to show it, and it can't just be one game or two games. They're going to have a nice little stretch to gain any trust back.
Yeah, to me, there's just so many things that now it's starting to feel like early on it was easy to be like, well, Salvi's not hitting and Vinny's not hitting and Caglione hasn't gone deep. And now you're starting to be like, I still believe Vinny's going to hit. But
he's looked a little better. Yesterday was bad, but weather's been tough on lefties. But he's looked a little better at least.
But Caglione and Salvi and the rest.
That's hope.
Yeah, I mean, I think Bobby Wood Jr. is going to hit some home runs.
I would assume he won't end with 0. I don't know.
So I think that's coming, but the rest of it, I mean, like Michael Massey, like we just mentioned, Jonathan India goes on the IL. We don't know what they're going to get from Massey.
Nope.
Nick Lofton hasn't been able to stick at the big leagues. Yeah, it's
it only works if the guys they expect offense from produce.
But at the same
time, and when it
time,
doesn't, they don't have anywhere near a deep enough lineup to make up for that.
For sure not. But at the same time, then you start to look at the names and you go, well, shouldn't they be better? I mean, it's one of those things where you go, okay, well, they haven't been better in 22 games. That's an eighth of the season. But
yeah,
also,
did we screw up and over-evaluate them, or are they just not playing up to their capabilities? I think we may have over-evaluated them. Like the thing that is to me that we missed on is the bullpen's not good enough.
Correct.
I mean, we just kind of looked past it and went, well, they kind of taped it together last year, and
I think we put too much faith in Brian Sweeney to say, not that he's I said that poorly, not that he's failing, but I think we said, well, they've got Sweeney and he's a great pitching coach, they can figure it out, and he still had the talent.
So you like putting too much on Mahomes.
Yeah,
Mahomes will fix it.
Exactly,
Sweeney will fix that.
and he can't. And look, you lose your closer. I still think that's a huge part of the bullpen, right? Like they need that guy. They need that guy to stabilize. He's what allows everything else to work. And if he's throwing 97 and saving games like he was last year, is the rest better? I don't know. I kind of tend to think yes. But that hurt. But then also there's the guys. They're not. John Schreiber has. Again, I'll go back to what I've said so many times. The Royals trust him a little too much, and the fans before this year had not trusted him quite enough. I think there was probably a middle ground. John Schreiber has been as bad as the fans thought he was the last 2 years. He has been a problem. Alex Lang has been inconsistent. He's been okay. Nick Mears has been inconsistent. He's been okay sometimes, not all the time. Lucas Urseg has had a couple blow-ups. Matt Strom, he hasn't pitched since. Did he pitch Tuesday? Is that the last game he pitched? I think it was Tuesday in Detroit because he warmed up on Thursday, and then the rain delay hit, and so that banged him. That's what they said. And then there wasn't an opportunity, really, I guess. Would have been nice to have him on against McMahon on Friday night, but I don't know if the 3-batter minimum might have gotten him there. But Strom had, these guys who you feel like they would be better. I feel like it would at least be better if there was the guy at the back end, and he's not there. And so everybody's out of position, and it's just not working at all. If it was me, I'd empty the Omaha chamber, and I'd say, look, Eric Sarantola I don't know if he's any good. He hasn't given up a run since, like, August. Like, give him a shot. And they're kind of doing that. Mason Black, who had a really good spring, he's up now. I think Avila can come back. Avila and Cruz both could come back on, like, Friday maybe. That's the 15-day. I don't know. Injury could get him back earlier. I'd say, look, this isn't working. We're going to go full power like everybody else in the world has done. I mean, you look, who was that guy the Yankees threw yesterday at the end of the game? He was throwing 98, 99. He's a nobody. Royals get guys 92, 94.
I'm with you. Like they're everybody out there. I mean, if you play fantasy baseball and you go through the pickups, there are guys like right now averaging like 13 strikeouts per 9 that aren't on any of our fantasy teams.
Right.
Like every week I can be like, okay, I can get this guy who can strike people out.
5 holds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with the Royals, it seems to be like they just can't get that figured out.
They don't. Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe they've leaned too hard into the type of, hey, we're going to limit hard contact. Just limit contact. Don't worry if it's hard if they never actually make the contact. Right? Like I remember back in 23, I think we were talking about the Royals offense. Oh, they hit the ball hard. They hit the ball hard. Why are they not? Because they don't hit the ball enough. When they do hit it, they hit it hard. But if you swing and miss, it doesn't really matter. And I don't know. They just haven't gotten there, especially with the bullpen. And yeah, they tried. I think they tried to solve it a little bit. Matt Strahm gets swing and miss. Alex Lang gets swing and miss. Nick Mears gets swing and miss. But then they've come here and have not. Lang's gotten the swing and miss here, but the others haven't really done it. And it's maybe the philosophy is wrong in the bullpen.
Yeah, we'll take a break. Let's come back and we'll talk about Asa Lacy, what we should take away from the failure that was Asa Lacy when it was all said and done. David Lasky from Inside the Crown is with us here on the program.
to wait for the base.
Oh, do you?
There you go. The La Feta Delicatessen end of the hour answer. Who's the only hitter to spoil a perfect game with a 2-out, 9th inning home run?
I had some help on this one.
There's a man made famous by one of the most popular sitcoms in history.
Do you know who it is?
Well, I mean, you gave me the answer.
Who?
That's right.
Well, wait, maybe not. Is it not? Is he? I don't know the answer. Is it Keith Hernandez?
Nope.
No. Good. But you got the right sitcom.
But,
what other player?
But Steinbrenner's people loved
My
this
people.
guy.
My people loved.
They kept
was it
saying
Buhner?
this guy.
Why? Who they traded for Buhner?
Oh, shoot. Who was that?
It was once a Royal.
Hang on.
He did it. He was a member of the Oakland A's when this happened in 1990.
Oh my God, this is gonna kill me. I'm totally blanking. I can see him.
Buhner was a good prospect, no question about it. But my baseball people loved Ken Phelps's bat.
Ken Phelps.
They kept saying Ken Phelps, Ken Phelps.
I could see him.
Mhm.
I could see his face.
Former big leaguer texted me the answer.
He was a grip and rip, for sure.
I wouldn't have gotten it either. But Ken Phelps it is. Ken Phelps it is.
I like the Keith Hernandez guess. I'm going to stick with that.
That was a
even
good
knowing
guess.
the answer.
And to the left.
Asa Lacy being released. By the way, just a trip down memory lane. You remember that was it like 4 rounds or
5-round draft?
5-round draft.
Brutal draft
in 2020. Why was it so bad?
I think. Well,
I mean, when we don't mean necessarily just the Royals, the whole draft
Everybody
itself.
So
Spencer Torkelson has never reached his potential. He was the 1-1. Heston Kierstad.
He's had some head injury stuff.
Okay. Max Meyer.
Get healthy.
Asa Lacy. Austin Martin. Emerson Hancock. Nick Gonzalez. Robert Hassel III. Zach Veen. Reed Detmers. He's at least got up on the mountain. Garrett Crochet. You finally land on somebody
he's
who's
the good one.
He's the best one of the bunch. Austin Hendrick. Patrick Bailey. Justin Foscue. Mick Abel.
These all sound like made-up names.
I know. Ed Howard. Nick
player.
York. Bryce Jarvis. Pete Crow Armstrong. Garrett Mitchell. Jordan Walker. Cade Cavalli. Carson Tucker. Nick Bitsko. Jared Schuster. Tyler Soderstrom to the A's at 26. Aaron Sabato, Austin Wells, Bobby Miller, Jordan Westberg plays when he's not hurt.
That's
for
the
Orioles.
third highest WAR of that first round, behind Crochet and PCA.
The second round's not
Cameron
much better, mind
Modzinski,
you.
Nick Lofton, who the Royals gave $3 million to, Slade Ciccone, Justin Lang, Drew Romo, Tanner Burns, and Alika Williams. That's the 37 first and sandwich pick players.
My theory, this isn't my theory. It's that everything ended. College season ended on March 10th. There was nothing that season to evaluate.
So it was all
So it was
year-old
all-
data?
Yeah, pretty much. And so that's the worst draft maybe since there's actually been some actual ability to scout players.
I mean, you're right. I'm looking at the second round. It sucks, too.
There's a couple others.
Well, Mason Wynn.
Yeah, Mason Wynn was in
7.
there.
I'm looking. That's
Dylan Dingler has been good for the Tigers.
Spencer Strider in the 4th round. That's 4 guys with at least a 7 WAR.
Okay.
Giants
Let's
took
check
Kyle
the 5th.
Harrison in the 3rd. Yeah.
There's nothing.
No.
Nothing.
It's a bad draft.
Garbage.
Spencer Strider was in the 4th round. Did you say that already?
Yep. So
Oh.
4 guys out of a 5-round draft has
I'm not
a 7
really
WAR.
listening. I was trying to find guys.
Sorry.
Will Klein was there.
I mean, but it's baseball drafts, you look at them and there's most of them are nobodies, right? The whole draft.
Yeah.
But this is like staggering.
Tigers actually had a great draft. Colt Keith, Dylan Dingler. I mean, those not that they're well. Dingler looks like he might be taking a turn, but they've actually gotten probably the most value of any team out of that draft. Jordan Walker was in the 1st round, so maybe he's turning that corner a little bit. But I think that was part of the problem. Just a rough year to evaluate because you had nothing to evaluate.
Yeah.
And, you don't know. Is Ace, the physical looked good? Okay. Is he healthy? No. Never. Never healthy. And, it stinks.
Yeah. It makes you, I bring it up because it makes us feel a little better.
Yeah.
That
for sure.
It was rough, but it would have been nice to see what Garrett Crochet was.
Yeah. Or even Mick Abel, who, well, no, he's on the IL, but he was looking good for the Twins for 3 starts.
He was, and he's supposed to be pretty good. Yeah, but, that era, one, I'm missing on Garrett Crochet and also missing on Chris Sale.
Yeah.
Back when they took
Christian Colon, right?
Christian Colon over, they don't like those lean lefties, apparently.
Crochet is no longer a lean lefty, by the way. He's just a lefty.
Oh, yeah?
He's a big boy now. I think it's muscle.
That's true. That's true. He never was.
He wasn't like Sale, but he was smaller.
Yeah, I put him in the Sale. That's
I always do too. That's weird. But yeah, at least Cologne had a decently big hit for the Royals.
There was
that.
That's it. That's the only thing
that's only
that
thing
people
that's saving him.
But that's what we're expecting to be a lot better now.
Yep.
Is that the Royals can draft better, right? They've got the 6th pick this year. The draft will be here before we know it. It'll be agonizingly long if the season keeps going the way it's going right now.
It'll be here quickly if they start winning. It'll be here in 9 years if they keep losing.
But it's do we think they've got it figured out and they're going better?
Well, they've done better. You look at the Brian Bridges drafts. Which is that just 24 and 25? When did he get hired? Was that after the 23 season?
I think Caglione was his first.
No, I thought he was in the. That's 24.
Did he take Blake Mitchell? I don't
no,
think he took Blake Mitchell.
He did not take Blake Mitchell. So yes, so that is, those are the Brian Bridges drafts. You look at what they've done, and 23 too. I'm pulling it up right now. I've said this before. I have the theory that J.J. Piccolo was the GM in 22, but Dayton Moore was the president. And you look at the guys that J.J. Piccolo has traded, and they're in the 2020. He's like, I don't want my name on this draft at all. Everybody get out of here. But 23, as Blake Mitchell is showing power in the minors, early sample, obviously. But Blake Wolters is looking a little better. Carson Rockefort has been really good in Double-A, so there's that. I'm looking up and down that draft. They traded Jared Dickey in the Urseg deal. So they got some value out of that regardless. But 24, you look at the draft, Caglione in the big leagues, David Shields is one of the top 2 pitching prospects in the system. Drew Beam looks like a guy who can be a back of the rotation starter. Dennis Collier is a guy who heard a lot about in spring training, upper 90s. You want to talk about the velocity in the bullpen. He's that guy. Sam, I always say this, Kulasingam. I don't know how he says it, but 13th round pick is performing pretty well right now, so that's been good. Then you look last year's draft. Sean Gamble the numbers haven't been there this year, but people are really impressed with his bat speed. Josh Hammond has actually been really good. Michael Lombardi just struck out 11 in 4 innings. The 2nd round pick. Justin Lampkin had a nice game yesterday, I think Saturday. I don't know. So. Tyreek Kemp has looked really good, the 6th round pick.
By the way, when do we get concerned that Blake Mitchell still can't hit $2? He's getting on base, 388, but he seems to be the poster child for what they are today.
I'd say
yes, they can draw some walks, but at the expense of swinging at strikes.
I would say give him a few weeks. This year, if it doesn't change, and I don't mean like the end of the year. Like if you get to Memorial Day and he's still hitting 203, there's a problem. He's part of that he's in Quad Cities where it's just been.
He's drawn 12 walks in 12 games, but he's also struck out 18 times.
Yeah, he has some swing and miss for sure. I think it's not something that you're not worried about yet, but it's got to turn 5-6 weeks. Give him a little time, and if it hasn't turned, then there's a big concern there. I'm. Last year, you give him a little bit of a pass because it's the hamate injury and the power doesn't come back, and I get that. He should be healed. He should be good to go. He's got to make more contact.
Strikeout stuff is not something you want from a hitter.
No, it'd be maybe.
He's got good strikeout stuff. Is that good? No, he's a
he bats. So no,
no.
Yeah, I think the tools are all there with him. But yeah, that's something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I just they need to get. He needs to be at least a trade chip. I mean, like right now, you feel like he could be thrown into something. But the longer he goes, he's not. This is his 21-year-old season.
Yeah,
so he's not young
he's
anymore.
Still in high A.
Yeah,
which how much still? Maybe still is the wrong word.
No, but he's age appropriate now.
He needs to get to Double A this year.
Yes,
and perform in Double A this year.
Yeah. One of the things we talked about last night, Kendry Churio and David Shields, though, both had good outings.
You can say that.
I mean, Churio's had 2 good outings in a row. Shields finally had a good outing.
Yeah.
Not finally after two rough ones, but it's early. But
nice to see that he bounced back.
Those are going to be the guys that are the top 2 prospects, and probably are now, aren't they?
Yeah, I've seen some. Yeah,
I mean, people had Blake Mitchell ranked ahead, but
Jensen
just because he's older. But
Churio is starting to climb up lists. He's going to be the one who climbs up the list because he's got the flashy. Like David Shields is not going to wow you. I mean, he'll wow the nerds because he's got these spin rates and all that stuff. But he's not throwing 97. Churio's mid-90s, good stuff, all that. He's gonna fly up prospect lists this year, especially if he keeps up what he's done. Which his last 2 starts, 9 2/3 innings, 1 walk. How many strikeouts is it?
Well, I would think down at low A, if he keeps, if they're just not even putting the bat on the ball, then they're going to promote him to high A pretty quick.
Worth it. Yeah, I would hope so.
And then if he gets to high A pretty quick, then he's got a chance to finish in Double A.
Yeah,
which means you're on the radar for 27.
Yeah, what do they say? 8 starts, 6 starts? I can't remember what
that he's had so far. This year?
No, that they like to look at before they promote a guy. We want him to have this many starts or this many. I think it's 6 or 8.
That sounds about right.
But either way, I mean that's mid-May potentially. So,
but I mean that is the good news. But the bad news is like if this year doesn't turn around, there's nothing. What are we rooting for in AAA? You can't even be like, okay, well we're going to start giving starts and at bats to these guys.
Cameron Meisner, so the local guy.
Okay,
I don't know.
But I mean, there really isn't anything there.
There's
like
not.
This is the gap. This is the end of the Dayton Moore.
Butler and Gordon aren't Double A or
Carson Rockefeller could get up there, and then you're interested in him. He's not a top prospect, but he's at least interesting. It's slim.
They really could use another one of those guys, like a guy that's like not on the radar. That
Vinny Pasquantino, that he wasn't on the radar and he climbed.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't a high pick, but he kind of. He caught our attention. We're like, okay, that guy's
running.
Yeah. I mean, they could use one of those like a Whit Merrifield.
Yeah.
Coming around.
Oh yeah.
I really thought that this would be the year for Nick Lofton to stick.
Maybe we'll.
He's getting the chance now.
He's
up
shot.
now.
Yeah.
So we'll find out. David, great stuff. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you again next week.
Sounds good.
That's going to do it for us. Back at it tomorrow at 2.